yesterday. There's a little bit of questionable decisions by Signal Ultra, and let's see what they can show today against Onage.
Well, for Onage, again, they are the underdogs right now. They're currently the 10th, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah, 10th.
10th team who's currently in the roster, and well, just like Rockhart mentioned earlier, the only way is to go up. And let's see if Onage have prepared something against Signal Ultra, because again, well, we've seen yesterday Signal Ultra Warriors, Signal Ultra rather, have some difficulties when it comes to communication and also when it comes to execution. So Onage can also just try to get that weakness, get that opportunity to get that score.
Yeah, exactly. That's what I was thinking as well. Like, what happened to Signal yesterday? Were Onage watching? Because if they were watching, they would know that Signal basically drafted 2 full melee compositions. They had mages, but they were basically melee range as well. Lunox and Esmeralda. Basically very little variance. And if I were just watching, I would have drafted really well against that. But again, it's a big question of whether or not they can do that against Signal right now, because these guys, they're no slouch. Again, as you saw in the video earlier, Season 2 champions. They're still the same team, and I gotta say, it's just basically the bad matchups that they've had. A lot of those were basically against teams today that just do really good against the meta, considering, EVOS is, despite being, not really on the upper half of the standings, they're still a really solid team. Of course, they have the Brainchild Pain on their side, so it's very easy to forget that EVOS, this is a completely different EVOS that we're talking about. And there's a good reason that they had a bit of a slouch yesterday. So today, it could be, it's very up in the air how Onage can deal with this. You know what they can do? I would feel like Onage, if you're in the bottom of the barrel, you just go for anything.
Oh yeah.
I feel like you can do anything at this point. Go for drafting Kimi first, which is again proving to be the weak point of Signal. Once you ban out the Kimi, it becomes very easy for them to lose track of how they actually perform. Sometimes they can keep up with the Kadita, with the Gusion, but otherwise, they usually have this standard drafting pattern.
That's true. Well, again, I guess that's one of the things that they can have the advantage on against Signal Ultra. Well, again, they can use all of those unorthodox drafting, just like what they did before. I think that was week 2 or week 1, and those are 3 fighters.
Week 3.
Week 3, if I'm not mistaken. Yeah, there we go. Week 3. So they can do it again. We'll just try to find the right tempo or the right ingredients for them to win against Signal Ultra. I think they can. I really think they can. And this is one of the reasons why it's really surprising for me. Signal Ultra versus Onage. Well, it will be a very close fight for sure, indeed. But in my heart, it says that Signal Ultra, again, they are the comeback kings. I think Onage, they should go full ham, just go for a run and gun composition, play hyper aggressively. But because if Signal Ultra were able to get there, at least survive the late game, well, this is where Signal Ultra will really shine.
That's indeed. I mean, of course, Onage is a team that if they dominate the early game, they could actually dictate the tempo. I've seen that against Sunsparks. But if they lose the early game, you can certainly flat them out. I mean, in that game against Sunsparks, they had a really good early game because they know when to jump in immediately. They surprised Sunsparks, and that's the beauty about this Onage team. It's the surprise factor that they offer when they go onto clashes that actually helps them a lot.
Honestly, when I look at Onage, I kind of get reminded of how they were in Season 3, where a lot of teams were actually really a bit wary of these guys as well. The thing is, of course, there are a little bit of drafting change, a little bit of team member changes, which of course is, I think it's impacting them a lot, right? Onage before was just head-to-head alongside the main Archangel group, right? But now, of course, they have branched out on their own, and I feel like that might have taken a hit. They might have taken a hit with the lack of leadership from Panda. If you remember, guys, Panda, he wasn't actually Archangel before. He was the coach for Onage. So I'm still clinging onto my Season 3 nostalgia. I hope some of the strats from Mr. Panda himself rubbed off on Onage, because I feel like I haven't seen any of them so far.
And well, I really do agree. And I think one more thing that I've noticed is, well, because there's a lot of roster changes that actually happened, and Onich is also one of them. I think the sync, player sync, is still not yet that kind of established. I think so. They're still on the part where they're really deciding to. Do you really need to draft this? Can we play this? Can we execute it well? So those are the questions for the side of Onich. But we all know Signal Ultra. They're the same roster ever since. So well, the team sync is already there, but it's just that I think it's just the play style that they really need to change, because all the teams right there, all the teams who are already included right here for our season 4 already. I think they already read the playstyle of Signal Ultra, so I think they can find a different playstyle or maybe go for a much more larger hero pool per se.
Yep, indeed. Of course, you did mention about Onich, about the fact that they're still not in sync. It's pretty evident in their previous matchups. Like, I see them experiment a lot, like a Claude on the weakness finder emblem, a Mincetar being deployed.
It's a big stage, right? What the heck? What the heck?
A carry with the Electro Flash emblem. I was like, is this going to work or not? And at some points it did work, and then at some points it did not work. So yeah, that's a big question mark about Onich. And then you did mention about Signal Ultra, about their sort of like game plan. It kind of looks outdated for them. Like, they're having a difficult time adjusting with the current patch, with the current meta. I mean, it's different, because if you look at teams like Execration and Brenny Sports, what I really loved about them is that they could adjust to whatever happening. They could switch roles. Signal Ultra is not the team that is capable of doing that, because I've never seen Few play mage, and if he does, it's a bit awkward. When he plays Esmeralda, it's kind of looking like a bad game for Signal Ultra.
Signal Ultra, I feel like they just need to get on the range. I feel like when I was watching yesterday, why don't you pick a Granger? He's so strong. He's not banned out. He's not picked. I mean, they always have priority over that anyway, because usually the enemy ends up picking up the next board, picking up a Cho. You know, if you can't get those, they get Brock anyway, someone a good front line. Why don't you pick someone with long range, a Granger, a Claude? Again, usually we won't see these guys. Even Leomord, I would have liked a Leomord there in their composition. Yako, historically, he's been so good on Leomord. This time around, he hasn't been showing up a lot as well. So I just feel like they just need to incorporate more, what do you call this? They just need to change their drafting. And as much as I want to see that change overnight, that doesn't usually happen.
Yeah.
Well, I think they just need. I'm sorry. I think they just need to go with the meta. I think they're still stuck. Well, in my own opinion, they're still stuck on the previous season. So I think it's quite easy to play along with those previous drafting. So what we've seen very. And also come along with the meta. So they're the ones who's trying to build the new meta for our season 4, and they're really successful. So try to practice a different hero pool and then use it. You mentioned earlier that the Granger is also a really good pick, and it is a really good pick right here. The long range physical damage, the critical from the Capri can really burst up the back line. So I think hero pool adjustments is really necessary for Signal Ultra.
Yep, indeed. Even their playstyle kind of is a bit repetitive. Like, all the teams are able to predict them. Like, Execration were able to show that, okay, we all know that Signal Ultra is going to be like the late game factor. What if we try the split game approach, where we distract the other members of Signal Ultra so that we can hamper their late game prowess? And it works so much well. And that's the thing about Signal Ultra. Everyone knows what they're capable of doing right now, that you really have to adjust. You really have to find some changes. It's a bit stagnant at their favor, that they love to play the same heroes. They love to play the carries, the Grox and the Kajas, which is so season 3 already. And this is already season 4.
It is. I feel like the export is also slipping through the cracks for these guys. I don't know why. I feel like yesterday, most of the teams that used export, I think he has like a more than an 80% to 90% win rate.
That's true.
From what I gather. I'm not. That's not an accurate number. Obviously, I'm just estimating on top of my head. But I've seen export win so much more than he lost yesterday, and I feel like passing through the pick and ban phase for Signal, I feel like that's a big mistake. They should not let that happen. And considering I know the playstyle of Onich, if they get this export, this is going to be explosive. I haven't actually seen them a lot with this hero yet, so I'm very excited for that, and hopefully it doesn't fall through the cracks. Like I said, that's for Signal. For Onich, though, I feel like they can play around it. They can play around those picks, play around the what do you call this? The lack of priority for Kaja. I feel like Signal just doesn't like Kaja that much, and the lack of priority for Export.
Well, I really think it all boils down to the drafting, because again, all the players are right here is really good. Again, it's all about team communication, and I really think for both teams specifically, they just need to get ahead when it comes to drafting. Again, because again, the drafting is really important. I guess I think it was Signal Ultra, if I'm not mistaken. There was a team who they competed last week too. I can't remember what team is that. They have drafted to counter the heroes of the opposite team, which is not really that efficient, because again, you need to draft for your own play style. You don't need to draft just to counter the opponent's draft.
I agree.
Yeah, so again, I think just focus on your own gameplay, focus on your own plan, and then execute it well.
Yeah, I mean, of course, if you draft based on your opponent's lineup, then it feels like it's a forced issue. Sometimes the heroes you play are not the ones you're very comfortable as we look at this Onyx lineup. You have Lard, CKTD, Lembot, Bimo, Nixu, and Indiel. And for the side of Onyx, we look at their lineup. They're so dependent on CKTD and Lembot if they want to get the damage. And then Bimo is like their primary initiator. Like, we've seen that when he deployed that Minsithar play. And we're hoping we could expect that from Onyx, especially against Signal Ultra.
Yeah, everyone else is just like, yeah, we're along for the ride. That's what I feel. And that's what I feel when I watch these guys play. Everyone's just, everyone else except for Lembot and CKTD, they just kind of, they just stand there a lot, and they just try to farm. They try not to die.
Yeah.
Except, of course, Bimo instead obviously does the engagement. Probably, particularly his job, even last season, right? I feel like when Bimo was a rookie last season, when he just started, it was very evident that he was a typical rookie, where he was very fairly aggressive, and Onage was able to ride along with it. But this time around, they feel like second season rather, it's a big difference, right? I feel like Bimo just doesn't play the same way he did back in the previous season. Maybe that's a big reason why Onage just kind of starts falling apart in the middle of the game.
I agree. But there's still a lot of weeks, a lot of days that they can still adapt and also flex their hero pool and also their draft specifically.
Yeah.
But we're already on week 4. We still have 3 weeks left, so there's still a lot of days for them to practice. But then again, the most important part here is they need to get the 2 zeros, because we're already in a new point system. Again, that's win minus losses. So they need to get that 2 zeros, so at least they can go above, which is the current standing, which is 10th place. They can go at least to 8th place, into the 9th place, because the last 2 teams on the bottom will be eliminated.
Are they on a negative point right now?
Yeah, I think they are.
They are on a negative point right now.
If you look at the standings.
Yeah.
Oh wait, it's a block apparently.
Lockdown. I feel like negative points is very difficult to climb out of. If they don't start getting wins in this starting today, you know what? There's just no way up.
That's true.
You're gonna be stuck in 10th place. You're batting up against Signal here, so that's fairly difficult to do. And you know what, Signal, they can come back from this, I'm sure.
Yeah,
it's in their blood. It's in their name.
All right.
Matchup for the day, tale of the tape. It's Bimo versus Tets. Fairly same average KDA, and these guys operate in pretty much the same way. At some of most points, that damage taken basically differs because of the heroes they started picking.
Yeah,
right?
and Bimo's playstyle does reflect a lot with the damage taken. Like, he's willing to charge forward in the nick of battle. It doesn't matter if it's a devastating blow onto him.
Yeah,
he's going to flicker in and going to initiate the fight. That's still one thing I like about Bimo, but it's also a double-edged sword, because at some points it could pay dividends, which we've seen against Sunsparks in game number 1. And then at some points it could actually be a blunder, because you initiate the play, you get bursted down, your team is not ready, and it's going to affect the entire On-Edge roster.
Yeah, and Signal Ultra, though, they can capitalize on stuff like that, right? They're very smart. They're very smart players. We've all had experiences with them since way back season 1. They have been so good at adapting. A lot of people touted them as like real underdogs in season 1. And everyone just got surprised they got second.
They are really patient right here. They're individual players. They're all disciplined. They're the main focus. The reasons why, one of the reasons why they are named the Comeback Kings, because they're really patient. They're looking for that small opportunity where they can go in. We've seen that a lot of times already, and it's really rare for you to see those kind of teams really patient, just looking for an opening, just looking for that weakness, and then they can penetrate and then slow ball after. That's one of the best ways, or that's one of the ways of Signal Ultra to again capitalize the late game. But then again, as I mentioned earlier, Onage, they just need to play hyper aggressively against Signal Ultra and then also fix their drafts right here.
Yeah, I mean, of course, playing hyper aggressive is actually what a lot of teams are doing now. Like, I've seen that from SGD, I've seen that from GeekFam, and of course, shutting down Signal Ultra. Yeah, playing hyper aggressive is like one factor, because we all know that Signal Ultra this season, it's super dependent on Few. Like,
right.
if you go hyper aggressive and you disrupt Few's like game plan, it's really going to help a lot. It's really going to help Onage like snowball all the way to the late game.
And you know what? If you were on the side of Onage, you'd want to play very unpredictably. I feel like that's what you want to do. And try to deviate as much as possible, rather, from your usual playstyle, because Signal, they have a lot of time. They have dedicated time to play, to practice on this. And you know what? If you watch Onage, it's very easy to pick up what they try to do. They try to play around CKTD Lembot all the time. With BMO basically there for the safeguard, everyone else is trying to play support. And that's what they know. That's what everyone knows that they play as. So why not try to mix that up a little bit, right? That's what we're looking for here, man. Anyway, everyone watching on stream, by the way, we're very close into the Game 1 draft. Don't forget to share the stream if you are watching, of course, live on Facebook. And watch out for the codes that will pop up on your screens. We do have thresholds, specific thresholds where the codes will be released.
And if we have reached 30,000, if I'm mistaken, or 50,000?
15,000 is the start.
15,000, then 30, and then 50. We will give a lot of codes right there.
A lot.
A lot of codes.
Seriously.
And a lot of Magic Duster and emblems that you can avail, rather.
Yeah.
Yeah, I
I
mean,
mean, who knows? There might be a random hero
Random
skin
skin.
or a
Yeah,
random hero there. So if I were you guys, I would share this non-stop to all the Mobile Legends groups out there. We'll let them know. We got Mobile Legends Bang Bang Professional League Season 4 running right now. One of the best regions in Asia.
Yep.
I didn't say one of the best. We're not the best.
Well, previously we are the one who's
we were.
owning the
Yeah, I mean, if we're talking about a tournament, obviously Indonesia is going to be it. But
Yep.
you know what? Everyone just loves Mobile Legends here as well. So
yeah.
go ahead and show them the love, and show them the passion of these players. And of course, you will see them in the coming finals. That's in, I think, in 5 weeks from now or more. We're very close to the end of the regular season. We're almost past halfway point.
Yeah.
So I'm very excited for that, and I'm very excited to see whether or not these two teams are going to stay on 9th and 10th, or one of them are going to go up in the top 8 and join us in the playoffs.
quite crucial for both of these teams right here. I really do feel the pressure of Onage right now, because they're up against Signal, which is the previous champion. So I guess they just need to reset. Just play patiently. Don't be under the pressure. Well, the pressure is still there, but just try to ignore it. Just try to focus on the game and Signal. Just go with the blood or the courage. Or again, just aim for that spot again. Just go. The main goal will be to get the championship again.
Yeah, and of course to add up for Onage PH, I mean, they could also introduce a little bit of fun, because when you're at the bottom of the league, you felt like maybe this could be not the situation where you want to be. This could not be the season that could actually help us. I mean, treat this as like an experience at all, that it could actually help you for the upcoming seasons. Although their season is still not yet over, but at least at least add some optimism in front of your season, as treat it like something where you can actually pick up the slack.
And who knows, maybe Onage is going to go 2-0 all the time now from start.
Yeah, it could be the start of something new.
And that's a beautiful thing about Mobile Legends, stuff like that does happen. It happened in Season 2, it happened in Season 3. To some teams you never expected would reach top 8, and there they were. Some teams you would not expect in the bottom of the barrel, and there they were. So a lot of things changes, patches come and go. And the most recent patch, obviously, Onyx has been on top, and hopefully one of these teams can emulate some of that spirit.
Yeah, I mean, of course. I mean, if they reach the playoff rounds with whoever these two teams, and then they reach the 8th seed, and then all of a sudden they become the champion, then
Yeah.
that's actually the greatest storyline that you could ever think of in MPL.
That's what I'm hoping for, and of course that's what everyone else here in the studio is hoping for. Like I can see the Signal delegation here, like looking really hopeful as well.
Yeah.
A lot
Yeah.
better than they were yesterday.
Yeah, yesterday.
To be honest,
Yesterday they were completely stunned.
They were like-
or bamboozled at all. They could not
like-
even talk.
their faces were like. I felt bad. I couldn't look at them. So
And last week, like the players didn't care if the camera was in front of us. Like they were just crossing
They
like
just-
random. I'm like,
Yesterday, it was yesterday.
it was last week. It was like, okay, ladies and gentlemen, it's just a random passerby.
I remember that. So it's been a really fun season so far, and I hope for these guys to spin it up a little bit. You guys think Kimmy's gonna get banned today a lot?
I think
Oh, yeah.
Kimmy has. Well, that was yesterday, right?
Yeah, yesterday.
he
There
gets
was
banned a lot.
an opportunity where Kimmy has been picked because last few weeks ago, it's almost 80% or more of ban rate for this Kimmy, and I think Kimmy is really effective right here.
Yeah.
You mentioned earlier that Kimmy is one of the counters for Signal Ultra. You mentioned.
Yeah,
Because,
that's true.
Again, the way that Kimmy works is the attack speed is way too much. You can just melt all the towers, especially with the Mage Killer emblem, and the way the early power spike of Kimmy right here is really intense, and that's I think. Again, they are the comeback king, so they're probably much of going to shine through the late game. So again, with that Kimmy, it's really difficult to play against.
It is.
Yeah, that's
Side
true.
of Signal Ultra.
And add the fact that Kimmy is the only mage that few can play. So it's
That's a bit harsh. I think I've seen him play other mages.
Selena.
Esmeralda,
Yeah.
Esmeralda.
but it flopped.
Oh, okay.
Okay, you're saying one of the mages that can play well.
Yeah,
Yeah.
one of the
Yeah,
mages that could play well, it has
Right.
to be Kimmy. So, although Kimmy does technically act like a marksman as well, because he relies primarily also on the right click damages on towers as well. And of course, it would be a very intelligent, ban or pick for the side of Onage.
I feel like the Onage picks here is going to be a big difference. I don't expect to see a lot of it, but I'm really hoping for it. I'm hoping for Export. Export is one of my priorities here in this game. I've seen it play multiple times yesterday, but always as a tank. Always in a tank role. So I feel like I want to see a big difference in that scenario. I want to see that damage. Come on, give me the damage export. You know what? This is something I've played a lot in my solos, where I haven't seen a big difference in change, right? I haven't seen a big change in whether or not the export gets played as a damage dealer. All I want to see is I want to see that export go for Hunter Strike, go for Blade of Despair, Bloodlust Axe.
Oh,
right?
Just go for full attack,
damage,
full
full damage
damage
build,
type.
'cause
Full damage type.
These players, they're playing it on a full tank basis. After Bloodlust Axe, they go for Oracle, they go for Blade Armor, right? It's Immortality. So I feel like it shouldn't be the case. I feel like if you play it to win, you play it to keep going strong, and then you just explode and just sustain with the damage from your Bloodlust Axe into the, what do you call that?
Last
Insanity.
Last Insanity.
Because if you, I don't know, I play this. If you go to Last Insanity in a 5-man comp, even if your HP is 0, they keep hitting you. Your armor just keeps going
Yeah.
back up because of the spell vamp. Because the spell vamp on the what do you call it? Spell vamp on the
Bloodlust Axe.
fire. The Last Insanity.
Oh,
Right,
Last
yeah,
Insanity.
that's-
Okay.
So it's just beautiful to watch. It does so much damage. You can basically go 1v5 all by yourself.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah.
Right? So something I'm really looking forward to here.
One of the reasons why I'm always banning export and talking about export here. Oh my
Woo!
goodness. And ladies and
Yeah.
gentlemen, this is game 1 of our first series,
All
Onage
right.
versus Signal Ultra. Let's go ahead into the draft here. Celine has been removed by Onage, you mentioned earlier. Again, Fiu is again one of the best.
The alternatives for a few.
Yeah.
Right?
Selena.
These are the heroes that few likes to play.
That's true.
Yeah, I mean,
All right.
shutting down Fuse a priority now in the ban. I mean, as well as the picks in this draft as well, because we all know that he's like the primary difference maker for Signal Ultra this season. Although right now, Signal already has the Kimmy already at their disposal, so this gives a lot of space for Few now.
Yeah, I feel like the Kimmy is something that should have been banned now instead of the carry, to be
Yeah.
honest. This is still wrong. Because of this, I feel like Signal's going to go 2-0. Oh my God, Jesus, wow. Take it easy, rock hard. No. Exborg is a good one. It's a good factor, but it's not the biggest factor here for Onage. They had to handle this. They need to draft the comp to chase Kimmy and the Harif.
Yeah, that's
So
true.
they gave away 2 big ticket items for Signal Ultra. Of course, few legendary with the Kimmy, and then you give away this Harif as well. Everyone in this team knows how to play Harif, even Tets. I've seen him play Harif.
Yeah.
No, not
Yeah.
obviously not in the big stage, but in our games. So everyone can flex this. They can flex this around except for the Kimmy and the Rafaela going with the Kufra. I'm not 100% sure, but it will help a lot with the
Xamath
export.
Force
Yeah.
and also with the Xamath Force of Harith right here. And Signal Ultra picking 3 meta heroes right now, Harith and also the Terizla. So it's quite difficult looking at these 3 picks, first 3 picks
Yeah.
of Signal Ultra here. I think the sustain from Rafaela can really handle that much because again, maybe if that is an Estes, they have a bigger chance to survive just in case the Signal Ultra go full aggressive early game.
I feel like Signal Ultra is getting all the heroes that they want
Yeah.
right now. I'll be honest, I feel like, oh god, I feel so
Oh
bad
my.
for these guys.
No, I actually like the 3 heroes by Signal Ultra, especially the Terizla
They
pick.
are getting everything.
Yeah,
right?
because I saw the match yesterday, Exborg versus Terizla. Like penalty zone executioner strike just melts down the armor instantly. So and then you've add the slow by the Harith. It's gonna really give this Exborg a run of his money in this
So,
matchup.
Onage here right now needs the picks that will capitalize on the attention on Exborg. If you want to play the Exborg there, you have everyone to catch everyone's attention. You need solid damage dealers. Who do you pick? Do you want to pick the Granger? Do you want to pick the Lunox? I don't think so, but they will go for it. If they lock in this Dairoth, it'll be a fun
Oh my.
game. It'll be a fun game
They
1.
locked it.
It's either they are gonna go full ham or go fall flat on their faces. Those are the options here for Onage.
I think they really need to get a catch for this Kimmy right here because Kimmy will be a big problem. Harry it's already a problem. Power spike of level 4, get
Yeah.
Xamath Force, take all the turrets using the chrono dashes. It's a big problem. And then Kimmy right here will just have a lot of space for him to farm, or he can also play aggressively. So and also with an Estes pick plus the Terizla,
Boy.
we've seen that a lot. This combination, this duo right here is really a lot of sustainability. Even the sustainability from Rafaela can't even catch the amount of healing that this hero can do.
This
Yeah.
is a classic composition for Signal. This is standard for them.
Yeah,
I don't know what came to Onage's mind. They let this pass through,
yeah.
and I do not like it at all. I do not like that Onage did this, even though they got Exborg, they got the Kufra. I don't know. It's not a good comp for me.
Yeah, I felt like Onage is gonna have an awkward time to engage Signal Ultra. Like Exborg could jump in, but of course, as I mentioned, there's a Harith, there's a Terizla. Makes matters worse that there's an Estes. So it's going, and you do need to like jump in for you to get to burst out Kimmy. Because that's your priority, because you don't want this Kimmy to survive long, because that's where he dishes out a lot of damage. So the engagement is going to be problematic now for Onage, given the fact that there's sustain and there's some damage on the side of Signal Ultra.
And I think that's going to be it. Very close. I want to get your predictions. I'm a 2-0 for Signal here. What about you guys?
I'll go
2-0.
for the first game first.
Yeah, I also want to go for the
I'll
first
with,
game.
with
You
Signal.
guys don't want to make a prediction here?
I want to see the second game of Onage.
What about
if
this
they
game?
can.
What about this game?
Yeah, I'll go with Signal Ultra this game.
Yeah.
There's no way that they can catch this Kimmy right here. Especially, I think if he went for a sprint, well, Kufra will have a very difficult time catching this
Yeah.
Kimmy.
Yeah, Kufra needs to have like a surprise factor when he goes for that Tyrant's Revenge, because that's gonna allow the side of like Onage to get this Kimmy. But in general, the defensive stance here by Onage is really good. So, I mean, by Signal is really good. So I'm going with Signal as well.
Yeah,
to win game 1.
my problem with this comp is great. You have a Kufra, but you're forgetting he's also the primary front line here. So if he's the one who's gonna engage and then tank up at the same time,
It's
that's so
difficult.
much job that you're giving a single hero. And if he fails in one, he's gonna feel he might not be able to do the other.
That's true.
Yeah.
Or do you think it's an export tank?
Frontline, why not? Why not, right? I mean, he's gonna get a lot of attention anyway this game, and I won't be surprised if he's just the one in the front line, while Kufra is the one on the sides, just protecting whoever needs to be protected. Who do you guys think is gonna come out on top here? Let us know who you think is gonna win in the comment section. Do you think it's a Signal win, or is it an Onage win? We want to know your thoughts. Don't forget, share the live streams you're watching right now on Facebook Live. And it is going to be a very interesting one. We'll have to wait and see whether or not they can survive this. Can Onage actually pull off the export like we predicted before? I mean, I did predict they would pick up the export, but this is a completely different. I mean, the other 4 heroes, I'm a bit surprised.
Oh my, four meta heroes, or make that 5 all team meta heroes for Signal Ultra right now. It's quite devastating. I really want to see how Onage will defend this one. You mentioned earlier that they have a pretty good defensive stance right here, but how long can they survive this Terizla and also this Estes combination? Other than that, where you need to take account of this Kimi and also the Harith, all good when it comes to melting towers. So they really need to go full defensive here for Onage, like for the power spikes.
Yeah, and of course they have to rely a lot on Dairoth now in this game, because Dairoth is going to deal a lot of damage for the side of Onage, and if he has a really bad game, it could be a nightmare for Onage.
That's right, so let's go into game 1, ladies and gentlemen. Onage versus Signal Ultra. We are going to run these guys down.
On the side of Onage, we have BMO playing the Rafaela, Nixu on his X-Borg in Yell, playing the Lunox Lard on his Kufra, and CKTD on the Dairoth.
And on the side of Signal Ultra, you have D going to be playing as Tamus, Eason going to be playing as Kimi, Tep's going to be playing as that Terizla, Distania is going to go for Harith, and Few is going to be playing as Estes. This is a different story now. Few is playing as Estes.
Again, as I said during the draft, these guys know everything. They know all the heroes of each other that have been using. I have seen them flex everywhere. I've seen Few on Mage, I've seen S1 on Mage, so it's not a surprise anymore. Right now, what's surprising here is a strong engagement here by Signal Ultra right now. Onage biting off a little more, taking 2. First blood goes over Signal, but they're not done. They say he's still going in. He's almost level 3. He's going a lot of damage. X-Borg, oh my gosh, look at that.
Oh, look
While
at
that
this.
is happening though, Nixu still trying to chase Eason. Eason still full. The fire stakes, not enough damage, and the fire missiles will kick in. And that's another kill here on the side of Onage. At least trying to even it out. 3-3 first engagement, first skirmish. Not that bad.
Yeah, 6 people going down. Not even a minute in.
Yeah.
Oh my god. What a bloodbath. I like it.
I like it.
It's pretty even. I mean, when you have like Rafaela and you have Estes on both respective teams, combining with the damage outburst of this X-Borg, and then a little bit of like the Tamus and Kimi, it's really going to help a lot in that, barrage there between Onage and Signal Ultra. But of course, the interesting factor, or the important factor, is how they could scale from the mid to the late game. That was just an early skirmish. Let's see how that's going to translate.
Yeah, you know what I like about Onage though? They're doing exactly what we told them to do. Just go be unpredictable. It's very rare to see a team go and fight right away without all the ultimates, but they did just that, trying to go for a risk. It's just that Signal was able to read it so well.
Yeah, that's so true. I mean, if you look at the roster here, as BMO's going to get slaughtered though, as Lard can really actually go down, they're going to chase there by D. He gets slowed there by the Synchro Vision. I don't think he's going to run away, and he gets bursted down with ease.
But as you can see, the Moonlight Immersion just keeping the core heroes alive. Even the Sanya is really brave. He's really confident that he can just dive using the Chrono Dashes every single time. And Signal Ultra will have a better positioning, and they will secure that first objective, Turtle.
Yeah, that's exactly what I was talking about, man. I mean, you can go for risks like that, but at this point, the Signal draft is just so well. The moment they get level 4s, it's just non-stop. Only, I think Essence the only guy who's not going to be able to participate too much in the team fights, and he's doing exactly what his job is. Top lane, though, it's going to be a different story. Nixu taking up a lot of the tower hits. Firaga Armor's out of the way, and it's going to be the hunt down for the Kimi.
Yep, indeed. That's actually Signal Ultra. They were able to get that tier 1 turret in the bottom lane, which is a really good momentum boost for them. I mean, they did lose their primary split push option, but it actually shows up that we don't have to rely on Eason to do the pushing. Even though he's got that Mage Killer emblem, as long as we work as a team, we're able to farm up really well, dictate the early game away from Onage, it could actually work well for Signal Ultra.
Yeah, despite that big blunder, though, Onage right now only trailing by 100 gold, and they are pretty aggressive on the map as well. A big thanks to BMO keeping everyone just so fast rotating, and everyone's so healthy. They can do whatever they want as long as they don't cross Signal Ultra territory too much. They can get the objectives that they need.
Yep, and also with the rotations here from Onage, almost like a mirror against Signal Ultra. They're able to take down the bottom tier 1 turret, and they're also able to take down the tier 1 turret in the top lane of Signal Ultra. But I guess it will all boil down into this next skirmish right here, because almost all of them already have their ultimate. So Onage, they really need to give a lot of space for this Dairoth. Well, Dairoth having a very difficult time in the bottom lane since the tier 1 turret's been destroyed. However, the top lane, Nixu, also committing the last insanity just to get that invisible Pixel frame to run away.
Yeah, because his Firaga armor was not going to survive long enough against the power of a 1-2-2 Kimi. He actually got a lot of solo gold earlier as well. So they are making a run for it right now.
Yeah, I like the decision by Signal Ultra to just dictate the top lane. Like, they're not giving Onage any form of space. Like, they know that Nixu could actually be devastating if he has a really good early game, so slowing him down is actually a very important objective. Now, Desenia already has his Calamity Reaper, which is going to be so beneficial for Signal's rotation plan.
Yeah, we haven't actually seen Inyel participate too much in the team fight still, but I think that will be the case right here. Signal Ultra posing for the turtle, getting ready to fight.
Oh, BMO get bursted out. However, the bouncing ball trying to control Desanya. Desanya is still able to escape. CKTD in the backline trying to take down Fiu, but Fiu will go down as well. Eson in the backline just hitting like the truck that he is. D, Inyel will be focused down. Eson will get that kill. D still trying to chase though. Nixo on the backline just using his fire missiles just to get that a little bit of space, or at least try to dish away the damage or away from Thames.
Yeah, that was a beautiful team fight there from Signal Ultra, keeping everyone alive and forcing, like I said, forcing the Lunox to fight close up. They dove all in his face, and he was so, you can see the panic in the guy.
Yeah.
So,
I mean,
felt bad, man.
Yeah, I mean, at the fact that Onage were not able to get the proper position onto Eson, Eson just got so much space to dish out a lot of damage in that team fight. I mean, it wasn't really that spectacular, his overall damage, but then you got the sudden surprise by D, which actually creates space for Eson to pop out his abilities, which is such an important factor for Signal Ultra to win that fight.
Yeah, Signal Ultra definitely playing with their strengths here. Again, Few still doing a good job on the SS as well, with the combo of deaths. It's like, what do you do with these guys? How do you take him down?
It's really difficult. Well, again, maybe if Nixu were able to hit that full damage on his last insanity, but for sure, Fiu is always there to use his Moonlight Immersion.
Tyrant's Revenge, bouncing ball popped out. Here comes the Zayman Force, and the penalty zone is popped out. But then there's a stun. Oh my goodness, that's a nice counterplay there on the side of Signal Ultra. Can they actually go for more? But Eson, look at that. He's got so much space again, but Nixu, he's going to jump in. Can he actually salvage something here? But no. Few says that's not gonna happen, Onage. You will suffer the consequences for that.
They are getting bullied so hard. Fast game, guys. 7 minutes in.
You just can see
man.
the turrets are just melting already.
Turrets are just melting right now.
Yeah.
Everyone has the buffs. No buffs for Onage. Everyone's going down as well. Itemization doubling up. Oh my gosh, look at that gold lead as well. So big.
Yep, and finally we're seeing the Signal Ultra that we have witnessed in the previous seasons. I mean, this is a good momentum swing for the side of Signal Ultra. I mean, their itemizations have been very on point so far. The tactical prowess has been very on point. The protection onto Easton has been so crucial for them.
Yeah, I mean, it's looking real good here. It's very difficult to touch the Kimi, let alone just go near him, right? So it's going to be a mountain to climb here for Onage. Can they actually do the pick-off? This is what I was talking about earlier. You leave the picking off to the Kufra. That's all he can do.
Yep.
Once he tries to go for the pickup and it fails, that is it. No one can tank any more of the damage. Everyone just has to run.
And CKTD, well, he doesn't have that much farm yet. Yes, he's level 9, but he cannot join the fights. Because if Lunox, and also Lunox rather, Inyel, is 3-3-3, yes, but the damage is still not there. As you can see, when it comes to itemization, Signal Ultra is well prepared. And well, to counter that burst magic damage from Inyel, not giving him an opportunity to get that power spike up. And Izon just melted another tower here. All the outer towers of Onich already been destroyed. So how this is the defensive stance that we were talking about earlier.
Yep, indeed. I mean, Desenia right now has a really good game because in the previous weeks he's been struggling to find the opening for Signal Ultra. Now I'm seeing it. The fact that he's able to pop up those synchro fissions really well, and the Zainam Force is just making sure that Onage does not really have the upper hand if they're going to go and engage Signal Ultra.
You know what keeps boring a hole in my mind? What if the SS was on the other team and the Rafaela was on the other?
Yeah, I think
Like,
that's much better.
A whole different story because everyone just wants to dive on Onage. If they had an Estes, everyone would be kept alive by the domain of the Moon Goddess, the blessing of the Moon Goddess, rather. So I feel like that should have been the case here. Rafaela's just falls short of healing compared to SS when he uses his ultimate.
Indeed, because again, once he uses his healing, yes, it will make your movement speed much more faster, and you can capitalize that if you played it really aggressively.
Yeah.
But again, the aggressiveness of Onage is not there already. Signal Ultra were able to remove all the turrets away, and the only thing that you can do right now is just look for an opening.
And the problem is the burst is too strong for Signal.
Yeah.
Even if you heal them for a little bit, even if you speed them up, everyone's HP just evaporates. So I feel like it would have been a different case.
Lard is going to get caught there. He gets bursted down there by Izon. My goodness.
Oh my god.
And I think they also went for the Necklace of Duran, so the healing from Inyel and also CKTD, the Festival of Blood, will be not that effective.
Yep.
Man, mercy guys, mercy.
Yep.
It's so difficult to even go out of their base right now. Aeson just raining down rockets on them non-stop. Every time it's on cooldown, he just throws it out. And it already softens the Onage composition by about 70% or at least half.
And then now Signal Ultra already has the Lord at their favor. His Few is just going to go aggressive here. This is so
Man,
funny.
You're not a marksman, man. You're not a marksman. Calm down.
Man, Izon just picked up his Demon Wand earlier, and then he just picked up, at least, I think that was just a minute or less than a minute, he went for a Holy Crystal. So that's a lot of damage already for the maximum charge of Izon.
He gets multiplied damage already from those items, and now Izon, those rockets are going to hurt more than double. I feel like more than the double. He's getting maximum magic power right now.
Yeah.
And it's very easy to forget, Kimmy. We kind of know her for the rat-tat-tat-tat, the normal
right
attack.
clicks.
But the problem is that damage from the ultimate really gonna soften. Oh my god!
Look at Nix's armor.
Seriously, that was just 1 second, 0.1 second that you got hit. Look at that. Here we go. We go for a big fight.
Now, Lard is going to jump in, though, forced to go for the bouncing ball, but it's not going to lead. I mean, Onage are intimidated without a doubt. They know that Izon is just going to wreck them anytime.
Even the Zaman Force will be used already, but Nixu will be forced to use less Insanity just to run away. But Izon, you see, he just stayed there for around 3 seconds, and the turret's already melted. However, in the bottom lane, CKTD in the front lines is trying to take down Tets, just tanking all the damage. Just letting the Lord destroy, or at least making it easier for them to destroy this tier 3 turret. However, they're just transitioning from the bottom lane to the top lane to the bottom lane. They're just messing the positioning of Onage already.
How to take down Tets at this point, I don't know.
Oh,
It's
look
way
at
too
that.
tanky.
Oh, fire. I mean, you got that ultimate there popped out by Nixu, but it's not going to be enough because Signal Ultra, they are going on the offensive. Can they actually be slowed down there? But you got D jumping in. They got a kill on the Few. There's no sustain on the Signal Ultra, but it doesn't really matter. Signal Ultra, they have the damage. They're getting the towers. And now you can see this counterplay by Onage. It will actually help them so far, and so far they're actually defending this. But Izon is still alive so far, and he's dishing out in front of Onage's roster.
And Tets is still alive as well. He's not going down anytime soon. Those towers already melted. It's going to be the last stand for Onage here. BMO and Nixu fighting for dear life here. Gonna try to see if he can fight off against Isenia, who is just going around. Izon free firing onto the base.
Damon forces popped out there. Here comes the last Insanity by Nixu. Will it be enough? Apparently not. As you say, Desania is just taunting Onage.
Oh, hold on. The true damage was real there. And Signal, they didn't want to take the risk. They will be relegated. Just keep it back off. And it will look really good there from the Onage lineup. Again, Nixu is still going to be very key here.
Well, as you can see, Signal Ultra is really patient, really disciplined. They knew that Lord and CKTD is already responding, so it's time for them to back off for a little bit. But, well, mission completed. All the turrets has been taken out, so the main inhibitor is really exposed. So just one simple go, that should be enough. So Signal Ultra just looking for that right opportunity for them to go in. Since, well, we've seen earlier that Signal Ultra just played with Onage when it comes to positioning. They went middle, they went bot, they went top. So it's really easy for them to finish this one off.
Yeah, they look like they're playing a game inside the base already. A game within a game, guys.
Yeah.
So I feel really bad for Onage right now, but at the same time, you know what? They kind of bought into it with their draft. It was such a squishy draft and so risky to go for it. Even the Dyroth, CKTD's Dyroth, man, I never felt this game.
Yeah.
I did not notice him at all.
Yeah, I mean, he tried to farm up, but it wasn't really that effective so far. I mean, the rotations by Signal Ultra are doing a lot. Like a 607 on a Howard is already a cheat code here for the Signal Ultra.
Yeah, it is. There's no way. The only way that Onage comes out on top of this one is if they play it up to like 30 to 40 minutes. That's my take. They will have a lot of damage output at that point, and then maybe Signal Ultra is gonna fall off a little bit and rely a lot too much on Aeson and Desania. But other than that, if this gets pushed up early on, this is the end.
Yep, it's all about the end. Signal Ultra is already taking out the Lord Tet, still alive though, 50% HP, and he still have the immortality. So, you know, nice Tyrant Revenge there, and also the ultimate from Aeson. It's not that enough though, but Tet's still alive. Moonlight Immersion will be used by Few, trying to kite out Lard, but Lard is way too fast. And also the rest of Onage is already there. So they're just going to wait for the Lord to march into the middle lane, and I think they can just finish it off afterwards.
Yeah.
But for Onage, they just need to reset and go for proper drafting, or much more better draft than they have right now.
They're making it look real easy right now, right? So easy here. And the solo defense, the solo zoning by Tets, while they were taking the Lord.
Oh no, look at this. The Lord is already level 2 and he could actually charge in any time. He's actually dishing out a lot of damage, but there's the initiation attempt. Lars is going to jump in though. Last Insanity popped out by Nix. Here comes the penalty zone is popped out, and finally they get the destruction onto Lard Signal Ultra. Can they go for more? The Lord is still alive, but CKTD gets Lord as well. And look at that by Signal Ultra. My goodness. Wow. Impressive indeed.
Yeah, very impressive. That's 1-0. Signal Ultra coming out on top there against Onage. Okay, let's break this down, ladies and gentlemen. What do you guys think happened there?
Well, yeah, sorry, go ahead.
Right. Well, my initial reaction is that, you know, the draft itself was already the exclamation point. Like, it was not a good engagement for Onage. Like, you saw the export. You think he's just going to jump in front of the backlash, because that always happens in every matchup in MPL. But so far, we did not see it. Like, he's so hesitant to move further forward in this matchup that Signal Ultra, they just dictated every team fight.
And, well, I also want to take note that the Kufra is really having a very difficult time to at least to do his job to tank all those damage, because when he initiated, you mentioned earlier, all the backlines are already exposed. Even the X-Borg. The Firago armor will just automatically melt. The Desania is way, when it comes to his item, it's way too fat rather, so they can't really protect the backlines of Onage.
Yeah. Like I said, solo engaging by the Kufra, that's not gonna happen.
Yeah.
That's not gonna work, because he's also your primary front line. What if he makes a wrong engagement and then gets disseminated by Aeson? And that's been happening all day. Like non-stop, he gets taken out early on, like right now, and then how do they engage? Nothing. Look, they can't even go near it anymore. And while they can't go near, you know what? Signal is free to take towers whenever they want.
Yep, indeed. You have a dual shield lineup by Signal Ultra. Like, you have to protect Aeson, you have Desania to do that for him, you have Few who could actually do that for him, and Terizla is just like there as your primary frontliner. It's a really synergized composition here by Signal Ultra.
Yeah, and I really like what they did in the end as well. Like, capitalizing as well. As much as Nixu was fighting back, it's good. You want to pop the last Insanity early on, because it has a very low cooldown right now.
Yeah.
As long as you can get the Firaga armor back, you can use it again in like 15 to 20 seconds. But, again, what was Signal doing? They were just enduring it with the help of the blessing of the Moon Goddess. No problem whatsoever. Everyone's back to full. You can heat us up, heat us up with the fire missiles. No problem. Go ahead, true damage. We can take it. And that is exactly the story of what happened there. Very easy to just survive.
That's true.
For Signal Ultra, despite the very, I would say, itchy composition from Odin.
I think the meta right now is more of a sustained meta. Just wait for your opponents to use all of their ultimates and then just go full hand. But this story is different for our game one. There's really no chance, a very slim chance that Onage, with their draft, can win against Signal Ultra's draft right there. And there's no catch for the Kimi.
Yeah.
How can they even kill the Harith while the Kimi is still there, right? I think
right.
CKTD just went. They just need to maybe go for a Hayabusa instead of a Dairoth.
Yeah,
right
the problem
there.
it was manned out, by the way.
Yeah. So
I saw
that's
that.
it. Yeah, that was a very, very intelligent drafting right there by Signal Ultra.
Yeah, very smart.
Very smart.
Otherwise, CKTD, what do you want to take over? His Cho, right?
Yeah, rather Cho, I
Which
think.
again will not be showing today. I feel like we said that Onage should start experimenting more, but
I think this is the experiment.
This is the experiment.
didn't they?
Yeah,
Dairo,
I think, yeah.
seriously. I mean, it's nice to see the KOF skin. I like it. I like the Orochi Chris skin. But other than that, it was I didn't notice him all day.
Yeah, not that effective for that much.
Yeah, if you want a very noticeable Dairoth, you want to get a lot of farm early on, right? And that's what didn't happen as well.
Yeah, because one thing, Onage didn't really have the greatest early game. So you look at Nixu, you expect that his damage outburst was going to be insane, especially when he pops up that last Insanity, but we didn't feel it. Like, every time he goes for it, it was just insignificant for the side of Signal Ultra. Like, they were just absorbing it. They were just tanking it. It doesn't really matter how much pure damage has already arrived. I mean, we all thought that pure damage is so powerful with this export, but it feels like it got nerfed here.
It did. It did, especially considering the amount of backup that you had. Yeah, I mean, if you're an export, you want to have solid front line. There was for a little bit, but you notice everyone in Signal was just diving. There were two priority targets on Signal that could do damage to Kimi and the Harith. Now you can choose to go for the Harith. It's very difficult to take down, right? Kimi as well. He's done so good with positioning in that game. So it was very difficult for me as an even if I was an export in that game, I would go nuts. Who do I take out? After I fire the arrows, they just go back. Then they go back in when the cooldown is off. So it was easy for Signal to survive against export.
That's true. And also the sustainability, the Moonlight Immersion, Blessing of the Moon Goddess. That last pick for Signal Ultra that is the nail in the coffin of Onage right there.
Yeah.
Just really close out the game right there. So I guess Onage, go for those comfort picks, I think.
Yeah, they just go for those comfort picks.
Yeah,
I mean,
just go for the plan itself. Well, before you fight Signal Ultra, it's really difficult. They don't really need to go for those cheesy picks. Rather,
That's right.
You need to get those points as soon as possible.
yeah, I mean, maybe they could, deploy these surprise emblems like they did before, which worked out. I mean,
Electroflash carry,
no, the Claude with the weakness finder.
weakness finder.
Right,
Okay.
right.
That was the best, for the side of Vonage. When they had the Grok win it forced team fights onto Sunsparks. Maybe they could do that.
Yeah, the reason why I predicted 2-0, by the way, earlier, if you guys were a bit surprised, is I know Signal plays well through momentum, and Onage just doesn't. Just crumbles. So once I predicted the draft was going to go to Signal in that game, and I know the game was going to go to Signal that game, I know it's a 2-0 already.
Yeah,
That's
for sure.
the
Right.
recipe.
I really do agree, but at the back of my head, I really want to give some chance for Onage right there.
doesn't?
But I know
Of
my
course.
head is telling me a Signal 2-0, but my heart give this team a chance, man.
That's what we're all hoping for.
Yeah.
Don't worry, DDZ. That's what all of us are hoping for right now.
I'm gonna play safe. I'm just gonna wait for the draft.
Okay.
All right.
No Cho though. No Cho
Yeah.
for Onage. That's another big hit. CKTD never going to be able to play that all season long, and that's a problem when you build up a reputation with a hero.
That's true.
Right?
You're always getting banned.
Never going to be able to use it.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, like this carry ban here by Onage as well. I mean, we all know that Few's gonna miss that hero a lot, and now
she's not that first ban potential hero. I think there's a lot of other heroes that you can potentially ban.
Yeah, that's
first
true.
ban.
I mean, this was their ban since game number 1. They banned Carrie
Yeah.
just because of
What's
feud.
their problem with Carrie?
I think
like
because
the
of
Kimmy is a
Yako.
bigger problem.
Yako,
Kimmy is, Yako, obviously.
Yeah,
but
Kimmy should have been a ban.
Kimmy's
Yeah,
a bigger
Kimmy should be.
problem.
It's much better.
It's going to get picked up by Signal for sure. If not first pick, second pick.
Oh, there.
Kimmy.
Yeah,
There you go.
automatic first pick. There's a reason why
Why can't-
Kimmy
Yeah.
is always being banned by other teams because it's really difficult for them to catch, and also the towers will just melt. One of the best flexible heroes here, marksman mages.
Yeah, why can't they not read into this already? I feel like if so many days, so many weeks of playing Signal already, you should know that their Kimmy is it's what you want to ban out, and it hasn't been banned out in 2 games now. Although they will have a priority over Harith and the export, I wonder if this is the change that they need. What do you guys think?
This is gonna be a tricky spot. I mean, Signal Ultra, they actually know how to defend their Kimmy very well. And Kufra is already one. They have a defensive option, and then they could actually go for these early rotations now with the Selena, and he has the traps as well. So it's another defensive option as well. So Onage will have a difficult time moving around in this game.
They will, absolutely.
But
And,
the power spike. We're talking about power spike.
Oh,
right
the
now,
power
Signal
spike.
Ultra.
It's easy to go that. It's easy to do that for Signal, especially
Yeah.
if you have a Selena, right?
Just level 2.
Just the level 2.
Just
we can
roam
go
around the
ahead
map.
and get everyone done. And don't be surprised if Signal does what Onage did earlier, go for the early invade, right? So I'm not gonna be surprised anymore by this. Although the Akai is a good counter against maybe catching Selena, it fares badly against the Kimmy from experience.
I think Onage, the reason why they picked up the Akai is for them to push the bouncing ball around and giving a little bit more space for Bimo to spam his to spam his skills on top of the Zaman Force. I think that's the idea. But again, you need to resolve their problem with Kimmy. That's the main problem here. Well, maybe if you can hit that blender into the 1,000-pounder and then push him back, that's one of the best ways. But again, these are pro players. You cannot do that quite easily.
Yeah, it's very difficult.
Yeah.
I feel like the measure. A wise philosopher once told me the measure of a good Akai is whether or not he can pull off a good blender, not really the hurricane dance, the blender 1,000-pounder combination. Because afterwards, that's already your setup for your hurricane dance, right? So it's a big question of skill. At the same time, everyone should already have that here in the MPL. So I'm not surprised at all. Estes Bando, that's pretty smart.
Yeah.
It'll be a lot more difficult to keep this Harith alive if there's no Estes on the field.
That's true.
Yeah, I mean, Estes benefits a lot all the way to Harith and into this export as well. So Signal Ultra, they don't wanna fall for that. I mean, they've already fell for that in the previous matchups that they had, the exports and the Esteses, and not just them, all the other teams in the MPL as well have likewise witnessed what this Estes is capable of doing.
Finally, there is the bando, by the way. I like that. They can't capitalize too much on it. Onage going for the Gushen. They are going for broke with this. Full damage. Almost full damage.
And also one of the best ways for them to catch the Kimmy on the back lines, that burst potential from the Shadow Blade Slaughter will help them win that early game. But again, most of the time, I think Onage can play hyper-aggressive here as well.
They should.
They can.
Yeah, once they got the level 4, they should go stick as 4 or 4 protect 1 play. They can go for that. But I think they're missing. They need to get at least one more marksman here.
Martin.
Yeah,
I would take the marksman. Yeah, one more solid damage output hero. Signal Ultra
Easy
though.
counter.
I like this Martis.
Yeah.
I like it. It's a perfect answer to what Onage is capable of.
Yeah, you can also play around the Akai. Pretty smart. Play around the Akai. Please lock in the Layla. Everyone's gonna love that. Bane is. I feel like Bane is underrated, to be honest.
Yeah, that's true. That is
I
so
feel like
true.
if they pick up a Bane, I wouldn't be surprised. I would like it. I would like a Bane pick. But apparently they're gonna go for something else here. Damage output
Mincetar.
for Signal is real. Damage output is
that's-
just all you can see here.
Yep.
Pure, unadulterated damage. Kufra just for the setup.
Yeah.
Everyone just want to finish this fast. That's the thing.
And also, Martis can really juggle, or can one of the best counters for Gashin. Just juggle here around, use the Ashura Aura, and also the Mortal Coil, and that's one of the best ways for them to abuse this bouncing ball mechanic from Kufra right here. So again, Signal Ultra, I'll go with Signal Ultra this one. No questions asked.
Yeah.
I'll
Agree.
This is a much more better draft right here.
Agree.
This Kaja last pick. If you're going to last pick the Kaja, you need to go really hyper aggressively. You need to make sure that you will use the Kaja to its full potential. Once you get level 4, use the Divine Judgment, rotate every single time.
Yeah, again, the rotations, non-stop rotations
Yep.
is what they need to do here. But that's a big question. Signal's gonna do the same. Signal's composition is drafted and picked up to do the same. So it's gonna be very interesting who gets ahead of whom here in this matchup. Don't forget, guys, share the stream. It is Signal Ultra versus Onage Game 2. Looking real good for Signal Ultra so far. Let's see if they keep it up. We are loading up into the game.
All right, so here we go, ladies and gentlemen. You have Signal Ultra as the blue team. It's going to be D playing as Martis. Isun going to be playing as Kimi. Tess going to be playing as Kufra. Desania going to be playing as Hayabusa. And Few going to be playing as Selena.
And on the right side, we have Team Onage. We have Bimo the Kaja, Nixu playing X-Borg, Inyel on his Gashin, Lard playing the Akai, and CKTD for the Harry.
Interestingly enough, though, they're not going for the strong invade right away. So Onage, they're playing very conservatively in the early,
But I think
and
Signal
you
is...
gotta respect that.
Yeah, you have to respect that decision because it's hard to engage in front of a Martis and in front of a Kufra. And add the fact that this is going to be a really good Martis game because it counters 3 of Onage's hero. I mean, I'm surprised with the Kaja pick. I felt like it's a no decision for Onage to immediately go for Kaja, even though there's a Martis to counter it.
Yeah, Martis for the win here in this game. That's all they're hoping for here, and that is exactly what they are getting, because it is getting a lot of free time. I like that. And the bottom lane, it's not too much of a big problem with X-Borg, except as long as you don't go all in. If you're a Martis against an X-Borg, you just try to farm up from afar. You know what? You're gonna use your Ashura's Aura just to farm at this point. So wait for the engagement here, and that's happening in mid.
Oh, nice bouncing ball there, and also Few getting that Garrote kill into the Soul Eater, but I think he didn't use the Soul Eater at all. The middle lane still, there's a little bit of fight skirmishes here, but I guess both teams decided to back off right now. But on the top lane, Desanya and also Harris going to par with each other, and the turtle will summon or will respond in the next few seconds.
Again, you have no problems taking that if you Signal Ultra, especially if you have a Kimi that has been getting a lot of free farm already, which is happening right now. Signal Ultra getting ready into position. Tess and Few setting up the map.
Yep, and here's what's happening. Signal Ultra is actually having a solo farmer in the bot lane, so this might be problematic for Onage because they're leaving a primary damage dealer as hold that thought. Bouncing ball is popped out though. Nyx is gonna get caught.
Damage!
Look
That's
at that.
inside. And also Lard, but the turtle was being taken by Kaja, and he's unable to take another one. And damage from his maximum charge will hit through CKTD, taking out Desanya and Inyel. That's a lot of blood. Buddy's on the floor right now, but Few still trying to run away from CKTD. And also Inyel will get that last kill right there. 4-4-3 exchange in favor of Signal.
That was turned around by a very beautiful Divine Judgment onto Isun. Exactly what Onage needed. And now they are fighting quite even. They even have the turtle buff, and they are ahead in goal by 1,000.
Yep, indeed. That turtle buff was so crucial for Onage because it felt like this could actually go in favor of Signal Ultra because of the fact that you got your Martis solo farming at bot. So it adds a lot of pressure onto Signal Ultra. Like, they need to dictate the tempo now. I mean, they're a bit defensive, although the Abyssal Armor, the Abyssal Arrow has been so important for initiation, but they have to know that it might be the time right now to try to put pressure on the Onage to make sure that this turtle kill does not pay dividends for them.
Yeah, this might be a little bit too much experimenting though for Signal. I don't know if they meant to do that. It looked like they just bit off a lot more they could chew in that one. Everyone was in such a poor position. I mean, despite getting the early kills, Onage can take that game, that team fight just through pure ultimate usage. So I feel like they should take it a little bit easier. Again, buy more time for the Kimi to actually survive here.
Yep, indeed. Of course, right now, D is still having like a farming space in the bot lane, so Onage would have to take that into consideration. I'm kind of worried that they're not putting a lot of pressure onto D in this matchup.
I agree, because once he joined the fight, well, we will see a lot of juggles right here coming up from the Sugar Aura. And I really think that they need to apply a lot of pressure here in the bottom lane, shut them down. And talking about shutting down here, our well-connected Lard will go down in the hands of Desanya, and Desanya plus the Muertes. This is just 4 heroes moving around.
Yeah, this is just very easy as well to do. Mid lane, though, a little bit more, vulnerable. And the bottom lane, you get pushed in by the export, will be answered by D. But they're setting up for Turtle once more. This could be big.
Yes, indeed. Right now, CKTD, he has to run away from this, and Signal Ultra. Oh, Divine Judgment onto Tats. Xanon forces pop down. Oh, that's a nice Tyrant's Rage as a counter play by Signal Ultra. They're going to jump furthermore. CKTD, he goes down now. Desania's going to jump in anytime. He's got the mobility, but here comes Nixu and the Hurricane Dance onto Desania to make sure he gets shut down. That's a good response there by Onage, even though Signal Ultra had the proper setup.
Yeah, that was a great response, but you gotta forget, man, that beautiful Tyrant's Rage, the comeback there from that one was beautiful. Don't forget, that was 4v5. All the while, D was on the bottom lane, getting farm, getting towers. So good to watch.
Yep, indeed. So you have D already getting that momentum from the farm in the bot lane, but Desania actually dishing out a lot of damage. I mean, we normally associate Desania as like a marksman, but now he's showing that I mean, not as a marksman, but as a mage. But then right now, he's showing he can actually play this hero.
Yeah, and D definitely will be stronger later on once he joins the team fight. Just imagine, it was already so bad with a 4v5. What more when they go for the full comp? They're setting up on Turtle.
BMO is actually going for the Divine Judgment. That's few. Can he actually dish out a lot? But Tets, here he comes with Eason. They're going to jump in furthermore. Desania dishing out a lot, but Tets and Eason are just intimidating Lard.
Oh, backline CKTD. CKTD trying to chase.
He focuses down onto the Kimmy, and for good reason. It was easy to take him out. It's very difficult to find the target, find the Harriet rather, if you are playing around the Kimmy.
Exactly.
Signal Ultra right now.
Ooh, this is big. That's big.
What happened there? That was weird.
I think
that's so low.
He used the Less Insanity twice, if I'm not mistaken, or is that from the pure damage of the fire missiles?
I think that was just pure damage, man. Right now, no Tets getting ready to steal. Will this happen, though? I don't think so. Goes for the risk anyway.
Nice steal by Signal Ultra. Now they're going to go on the counterplay. Tets with a heroic play, but here comes Lard with a Hurricane Dance. Finally, they get the kill onto Tets. Now Desania going to wait for the right moment to strike, but I don't think this is going to be very risky for Desania, or maybe not. He's going to force the issue.
He's playing around here, ladies and gents. Mr. Desania having fun on the Hayabusa right now. Eason, though, doing all the cover fire that's needed for Signal Ultra, but Onage, they are still ahead. 1.1k ahead. And actually 2k goal ahead. That's pretty impressive.
But we also need to look at the objectives here. They're already two turrets down on the side of Onage, so they already have map control. I think they're just waiting for D to get at least one core item, then join the fights. And once they group up on the side of Signal Ultra, it's quite difficult for Onage to control that.
Yeah, this is starting to look like a really easy game as well for Onage if you just look at the gold. But you're forgetting that is, of course, a Martis late game activation. Same with the Kimmy. But again, the objectives are kind of 50-50 right now, so there's still a lot of roaming for both teams. And I'm still waiting for this Hayabusa to make a big play, rather.
Yep, indeed. You know, what I like about Onage in this game is that they actually have a catch onto Eason.
Oh, careful. Top lane. Top lane, please. I want to see what's happening.
Yeah, Kimmy's also there.
I mean, the Kimmy fought against the Harif. They were right together, right beside each other. So, bottom lane, the push by Onage. What? No answer.
And they're just waiting.
Try to catch up CKTD. They noticed the big problem child here for Onage, and they are focusing all their attention right now. And they knew it was easy to play the Kimmy there, and they did.
Bloodlust Axe, tough boots, and also an endless battle for this Martis. How can you control this guy? He can also absorb a lot of magical damage right here. However, in the middle lane, just with the bouncing ball, Fire Stakes will be there into the Divine Judgment.
Oh my gosh.
And Inyel will take that kill. He did not anticipate it. He did not predict that there's a Divine Judgment available. goal. He overextended, but Nixu still trying to chase down Disanya. No, the fire missiles will not hit, and I think they will just disengage for now. But I think Onich is just trying to position themselves near the Lord area so they can get that positional advantage against Signal Ultra.
You know what's weird? Dex was alone in that engagement.
Yeah.
They were so far away, but he still went for the bouncing ball under the export. He was
Oh, no.
Like right now, what a deja vu there against D. Last Insanity will clear him off. They are fighting right now over the Lord. Onich looking real good here.
Yep, indeed. That was a perfectly defensive setup there by Onich. They did not allow Signal Ultra to snatch the Lord away. The Divine Judgment by BMO was properly timed. It really made sure that D does not live.
Kaja, big man, working. I'm telling you, Kaja making it work real hard for Onich right now, and they are ahead. Around 5,000 gold. That is a lot at this point.
Yep, indeed. And so far, Onich is now dictating the map tempo at their favor. So initially it was Signal Ultra. Okay, there's a Abyssal Arrow popped out onto Lard, but he's too tanky with the immortality. I don't think he's going to be an easy target.
Yeah, he's definitely not going to be an easy target here. But Signal right now, getting ready for the re-engage. Trying to get defensive on their own jungle. Starting to look really bad for the blue team.
But Lard with initiation, double Hurricane Dancer right there, trying to trap it out, but the Nixu damage is not enough. Ninyal getting down Tets. Tets again quite in a very off position for Signal Ultra, and Onich will take another objective away from Signal Ultra right there, and I think there was a pause. It was a perfect Hurricane Dance initiation, and then they've tried to follow it up with the last Insanity, but I guess, well, the Akai just moved a little bit, just mispositioned, forced those two lockdown heroes inside the Signal Ultra away.
Yeah, you know what's beautiful there? I feel like when I just noticed something, it's not really super serious. If you throw away the Gushan daggers and they're flaming on the floor and then there's just fire going all around, it's very, what do you call this? It's very intimidating. It's very intimidating to go near.
Yeah.
Because the Gushan daggers are like flaming because of the KOF skin. I like it. That's what I was thinking when I was looking at that. It was it was such a messy battlefield. And that's what I'm talking about. It was messy, and Onich, they played well into the chaos. You know, they're looking real good. They can take advantage of members being isolated here by the Kaja. And they've been doing that non-stop over and over again for the past how many minutes?
Yeah, I mean, you have to take into consideration that Signal Ultra, I felt like most of their plays are a bit, odd for now. Like, you see some separation. Like, we see the Kufra being out of nowhere, and you did mention, like, I also noticed it as well, like, Signal Ultra, they're already near that Kufra. I was expecting there's going to be an engagement, but that wasn't the case. And then with the Lord fight as well, it's also another Kaja pickoff. So these sort of like individual blunders or miscommunication blunders here on Signal Ultra is kind of affecting them in this game.
It really is. I feel like it's such a shame as well that that's happening. Because I feel like this comp would have done great in the late game. This would have been a great late game composition, except they're getting overwhelmed so early on. This Harif really making the biggest difference as well in this game.
Yeah, again, all the Zaman Force, they're able to remove all the farming. Well, even though Martis tried to farm, he's really not that effective yet. Because again, the control, the pull, the Divine Judgment from Kaja, just separating just one person, and they cannot fight 4 versus 5 against them. It's already around 11 minutes, 12 minutes per se. So it's really difficult. They've already, Onich already established. They're already take down all of their core items here, at least 1 or 2 core items, and Signal Ultra, they really need to find an opening for them to fight against this. And they really need to play with the Kimi. Kimi's positioning, yes, he's able to get those kills, but the objectives kind of feel like it's really falling off right now.
It really is. It does look like it's falling off. And that's a shame. That's a big shame because they have a great call for taking objectives as well with the Kimi.
Yeah.
It should have been easy, but they are getting dove in early on. I like the aggressiveness as well for Onich. Finally, an Onich game I can get behind on, even though my prediction obviously will not come true anymore. I mean, I don't feel bad at all because I see Onich finally that ray of hope that has been that has replaced the looming darkness within this team.
Trust the comeback, King.
Yeah,
Trust the comeback.
Oh, you're still not feeling Signal.
What?
Yeah, well,
I like it.
game is not over yet.
Game is not over yet.
Well,
Your prediction is still
I
safe,
still
though.
believe.
I guess, but it's looking real bad though.
Yeah,
feel like
I
it's real
agree.
bad.
I agree. The power spike of Signal Ultra is
Just way too high right now.
Yeah.
I feel like this game, they're having a harder time dealing with the export, right? That's pretty good. That's pretty good for Onage. And I look at the Onage line, right? They're all smiling right now. First time I've seen them smile in weeks.
Yeah,
I like it.
Okay, we got this, boys. We already got this.
Finally.
Just
No, guys,
just
no,
don't
no.
flank. Don't do any mistakes at
Yeah,
all.
I like this.
Just capitalize on your advantage. Play aggressively. Again, I mentioned it earlier. Just if you play aggressively against Signal Ultra, well, one of the best ways for you to win against them. So I guess. I think
Just hold on.
I think
Just hold
Onage
on.
got this. I think Onage
Yeah.
got this.
Onage
No,
probably
Onage,
has.
no. Save my prediction. Okay.
You're saving the prediction. Okay. All right. Okay. I mean, to be fair, I mean, Onage does have like a small small weakness. If the Harif disappears,
Yeah.
if the Harif goes out of range here, if the Harif gets in the wrong position, I feel like it's gonna be easy for Signal to go in because they will rely a lot on the export for the engagement, for the initiation, and if that initiation, you know what? Earlier I saw export, he went in, and everyone just started flanking out. That's exactly what Signal should do, and then they go back in after the last insanity. They chase him. After the last insanity, export gonna be very easy target.
Sure.
So if the Harif falls before that, it's gonna be easy to go overrun the Onage composition.
Yep, that's true, of course. Shutting down the Harith is one crucial factor there on the side of Signal Ultra. But we did mention export so far. I mean, I looked at his overall rotations. Like, he was just at the bottom lane, just putting a lot of pressure onto Martis, which is a really good plan. I mean, because one, he needs farm as well. Like, he's trying to invade the jungle, and then he's actually trying to clomp down on the Martis, which is good, because you want your export to get those items, you want him to get online, you want him to, like, produce a lot in team fights. And so far, we're slightly seeing it in
Yeah.
this matchup.
I think we are. We are loading up into the game once more, getting into basically late game for game 2, Signal Ultra versus Onage.
And now that the Lord is already marching in here into the tier 3 turret, it's been destroyed, and Onage, they will just transition. They will just remove all the turrets right here for Signal Ultra. We can
Yeah.
here. And also the arrow did not connect to anyone. And I really think Onage, they're really confident right now. They knew that they already had this game in the bag. They just need to destroy the main inhibitor. However, Signal, they still have a chance to turn this around. Again, we've seen them played a lot of times, playing behind and then with a nice turnaround. So I guess they need to remove the, they need to take down Nixu as soon as possible, get that arrow hit, and also Martis needs to get that perfect Assura Aura to at least juggle the rest of Onage, giving a little bit more time for Signal Ultra to burst him down in return.
I don't like the damage output for Isom right now. Even though he's 3-4, it's not really hitting. It's not really hurting as much as it did in game 1. So this is a big difference and a big problem for Signal. Where is the damage going to come from? The Hayabusa is not online as of yet. I feel like the Hayabusa this time around is not as strong as you want as a solo laner. So there's a lot that Onage has in store for this, and they're just waiting for the next Lord, I think, for someone to make a mistake here for Signal, which will prolong the game even further.
Yep, indeed. I mean, you did mention the Hayabusa. Like, Desania was constantly being bombarded on the top lane, which was so important for the side of Onage PH. Like, yeah, I did not feel Desania's impact after those early barrages. After that, he has a really silent game.
Yeah.
But again, the positioning of Onage here, they're not applying any pressure at all for Signal Ultra, and this is the Signal Ultra timing for them to get all of their resources back.
Yeah.
And once they got that, that's the comeback. This is the comeback kings. One of the best ways for them to return, to at least get the momentum back.
So you guys want it to go a little bit longer, isn't it? That's what Signal Ultra's talking about there. And I think that's exactly how they're playing. No one is walking out of the base too much just to get resources. And to be honest, it is starting to become harder and harder for the Kimi to make it. What happened?
Sonya got picked off.
What?
I think Bimo also went for the Holy Crystal there, so there's a lot of damage coming in from the Divine Judgment and also from the Lightning Bombs.
Boy.
Oh, look.
This
Yep.
real good here. Again, Onage, they are primed and ready to go for the last team fight here. They don't lose it, and they go in.
Here comes the last insanity popped out there by Nixu. And of course, they're actually going for the throne itself, but Signal Ultra.
There you
They're actually
go.
holding Abyssal Arrows popped out though, but they're not going to engage. Can this be a good defensive stance here by Signal
The
Ultra?
base.
Okay, the base is under siege. Lord is actually going to attack further forward. Here comes the Hurricane Dance. The base is still surviving. There's no damage yet, but they get onto Eason. That's going to be big here on the side of Onage.
I think that's it. There's no way they're coming out back from that. Diseño that goes in, one more hit, and will be taken out there. Should be a D out of contention.
And also Nixu with the last insanity, putting Diseño down. And this is a game of Onage forcing a game 3 against Signal Ultra.
Impressive feat, to
Really
be honest.
impressive.
I
Yeah.
feel like it's so impressive. At the same time, you kind of read about it as well. If this Harif went online, that would be the end. And then that happened. Even the Gushin just played so well in this one, able to just make sure that Eason doesn't have an easy time to pick up targets.
Yep, indeed. Like, based on the draft, this is supposed to be like a Signal Ultra game. But Onage, they were able to properly position themselves. They're able to get the right pickoffs, and that actually helped them win this game against Signal Ultra. We've seen the Divine Judgments out of nowhere. You see the pickoffs onto Hayabusa and onto D as well early in the game. Like, D has like 0 kills in this game, which is not a good sign for Signal Ultra.
And he also went for the Bounty Hunter. So if you want to go for the Bounty Hunter emblem, you really need to go to play aggressively. Instead, Hayabusa and D just went to farm both of their lanes, and there's no pressure at all on the side of Signal Ultra. How this Kimi can burst out all the towers if there's no response at all?
Yeah, look at that. They just keep catching each one off guard early on. But after that initial engagement, I mean, everyone just went to crap here for Signal.
Yeah, I agree. It's just that I think they're just having difficulties with their communication or so, or rather Onage were able to get their comfort picks and they're able to execute it properly. Even Eason is just having a very difficult time here trying to get that right angle for his normal attacks. And also D, it was a pure damage from the fire missiles.
Yeah,
Took him out.
you know what MVP here for me is that Bimo. I mean, he does have a little bit of a difficulty in surviving team fights, but when he does, he gets the good divine judgments in. I think a lot of the team fights here that was won by Onage was caused by a good pickup by Bimo on the Kaja. So
Yeah.
the Kaja was so instrumental in giving the win over to Onage that I feel like it might be banned on the next rotation.
Yeah, I agree. I mean, you see the Martis pick by D. You expect that this is going to be like a Martis game all throughout, but it wasn't the case. The fact that you got the proper rotations to movements here on the side of Onage itself, it actually helped them a lot, you know, in like dictating the tempo in this game. Like there was no space for any of the damage dealers here on the side of Signal Ultra.
Yeah, and the damage dealers just didn't get the farm they needed as well. It was so difficult. Why? Because there's a Gushin always hunting you down. Same with the Kaja. How do you confidently just farm in the lane? How do you confidently just take a tower if you're being hunted down by an easy divine judgment all the time?
And I guess that was a really good drafting here for Onage. I really want to see that kind of drafting again for Game 3 because they can take down Signal Ultra when it comes to in-game engagements. Again, they are able to pick off the right targets, especially with Kaja earlier. All of those pick-offs, the divine judgments,
exactly.
even holding down, shutting down D on his Martis right there. So I guess if they can do it again when it comes to drafting, there's a very big chance that they can take this game away from Signal Ultra.
Yeah, I have high faith in Signal to keep the momentum going. I feel like that was a huge blunder, to be honest, in the game itself, not in the draft for me. Because again, I still predicted the 2-0 after the draft.
Yeah, that's
and
true.
I would say that the Kaja was the big problem. I feel like I didn't expect the Kaja to be that good.
Yeah,
And
me
at the
too.
same time, I want to shout about the Kaja, by the way, too much. I've been droning on about it. The Gushin was a bit of a surprise. I feel like it didn't shine off too much, but it was doing the job.
Yeah.
I was surprised that the Gushin was not really dying a lot in that game.
I was expecting he's going to die a lot because you have Kufra and he's bouncing ball in
Because of the
front of your
Cobra,
face.
exactly. So I'm surprised he did the job he was given in the end of it. So ray of hope once more for Onage here. These guys are starting to look a lot more chill than earlier. That's good. That's good. And then they're really making Signal work for it. I like
Yeah.
it. I like it.
Not making it easy for the previous champions, and I think that they can do it. go for the Kaja pick again. I think it's really effective for
Yeah,
them.
Mimo on the
play
Kaja.
style. Yeah, he even went for the Calamity Reaper for the Kaja, getting that run sanction additional damage. So
The Holy
that's
Crystal,
a lot
right?
Yeah, Holy Crystal as
My
well.
gosh.
So that's a lot of magical damage right there for that
Yeah.
Kaja. It was
Anyway.
of last pick.
Yeah, exactly. Last pick Kaja, the clutchest Kaja we've ever seen. Clutch in the game, clutch in the draft. We are loading up into the draft. Speaking of the draft here, for game 3, Signal Ultra versus Onage. Looking real good here, ladies and gents. Out with that Harry.
Yeah, I mean, it's the name of the story for this series. Whoever picks Harith is going to win the game. So
Yeah.
you have to ban out the 100% win factor hero in this matchup.
Yeah, so far, right? So far, the Harith really just gets the job done, apparently. And that's what we want to see. So right now, it is going to be seriously, did something happen to Carrie here while I was away? Because
There's no patches yet for
it's getting
Harry.
banned out to a lot more than I thought it would here in this game.
I think it was just a respect ban for Signal Ultra.
Yeah,
That's it.
Like that. Either way, yeah, it's pretty good to see that carry being banned out because I don't really like to carry that much. I like, if I was going for Mars, I would have gone for Ranger. This patch.
Yeah.
Ranger just overshadows Claude and carry, to be honest, in a lot of the matches I've seen. And that Claude used to be the marksman king, right? When you pick a marksman Claude, you're almost 100% sure. With the nerf on the battle mirror image, the second skill for Claude, it got nerfed to like 3 seconds on the cooldown. You can only do it, you can only jump back once. Before you can do it twice. You know, go back, go in again. It's not a thing anymore. So no more Ninja Claw. That's why he's not getting picked a lot anymore.
That's why, and I really agree. Granger with the burst damage is really high. One of the best marksmen to burst out the back lines easily. But Signal Ultra, they have secured an export pick here. I think they're really confident.
Finally deny it,
Finally
right?
deny it.
From Iksu. Jeez.
Yeah, they have to get this export thing. Like we've seen, so that his like pure damage, in the previous game is so phenomenal. Might as well pick it up. Of course, it's gonna be a sustained lineup here by Signal Ultra with this export pick.
Okay.
I like the removal of the Terizla, by the way. So you that's one of the heroes that kind of fare bad against the export. Because after you go for Last Insanity, if you get pummeled down by the penalty zone, it's usually very difficult to get out of there. Because you know what, export doesn't have a natural built-in dash, except for Firaga armor. The escape on the Firaga armor. So I feel like after Last Insanity pops up, you're very vulnerable, and the Terizla usually can hammer you down, keep you in place, then it's almost sure you're dead. If you don't wipe them out with the Last Insanity.
Nice pick here as well for Onage. They can go for those early rotations again. Again, with the power of nature, easy clear for the creep wave, resulting into much more easier or much more faster rotations here. And Lolita being hovered over.
Oh, there you go. I like it. I like Lolita picks against
Kimmy.
Obviously, that's the best, the most satisfying 2 seconds. Just absorb it all with Guardian's Bulwark. It's so satisfying, at the same time so effective.
Right.
And also, there's also a mechanic that it can also remove, or if he timed it right, when he popped up his bulwark and then Grok uses his Guardian's Barrier, Guardian's Barrier will just
small projectile,
disappear.
yeah.
It will just disappear right there. It's not gonna.
Because weirdly enough, Guardian Barrier is a projectile, apparently.
Yeah, that's true.
Right, that small seed, and then it grows into a big rock. It was funny.
A really good mechanic right there.
So I want to see that match. That'll be like a perfect highlight reel material there if he goes for the bulwark onto that Guardian's Barrier.
nasabi mong nakuha ko yung X-Borg at sa Kimi nang sabay sa isang lineup doon sa kalaban ko. Oh, yun. Yung kampo ng Signal Ultra. Kita natin. Nasabi mong si Captain Yako na nakaupo. Di talaga ako sanay na nakikita si Yako na nakaupo eh.
Oo. Pero at least naka-smile siya. Medyo maganda yung dito.
Madalas siya nakahiga.
Nakahiga. Pwede naman.
Pero alam mo...
Pero look at this Signal Ultra, sabi ko kanina, madalas tayo nakakita. Sabi mo, pala, depths. Yung mga comeback na ginagawa nila all the way from, yes, that's from the Lolita. And also, from the Kibi.
Oh, sabihin natin, the Bulwark.
Yes.
The Bulwark will be actually a good counter against the Kimi. And when sabihin natin dito, it will give you an ample amount of time. Kaya sabihin natin, may mga tao nagsasabi na, yung bulwark naman, maiksi lang yun eh. Hindi naman yun yung pinaka talaga trabaho nung ano dun eh, nung Kimi. Kasi yung Lolita.
Yes.
Kasi ang gagawin ng Lolita talaga dito, magdo-dominant blast. The thing about the bulwark kasi, is it stops the enemy team from actually pushing the lane. While the bulwark is up, yung other team, yung mga ibang kakampi, pwede lang gawin, i-clear nila yung minion waves.
Totoo yan.
At kapag na-clear yung minion waves, that means you don't have enough time to take down the tower. So as long as nandun si Lolita, as long as nakatambay siya doon sa pinupush na lane dito ng Kimi, it will be an answer para doon sa pressure na ibibigay. Signal Ultra going for a Lunox and a Claude.
Exactly. Pero yun nga, speaking of dun sa bulwark natin, I wanna see this one. Gusto makita, lock na yan, Jawhead. Look at that, Onage. Using the Dyrot, using here, yung mga heroes na hindi, also Esmeralda, kanina ko pa hinahanap kung bakit hindi siya nagagamit. And Onage will be using here on game number 3. Butters, lineup composition. Who would you pick?
Lineup composition right now, Onage brought out something fresh. They got the Kimi. We know that CKTD knows how to play one mean Esmeralda. Signal Ultra, they do have Eson. And Eson will play the Claude with the Execute. There is less protection for the Claude here na sa mga ina-expect ng karamihan sa kanya. I would have to really go with Onage for this one.
Onage.
Parang, for Signal, it's all about kills, execute ni Claude, just farm up everything. This is a lineup na matagal nang ginagawa ng Signal Ultra kasi ganun talaga sila maglaro. Ang pacing ng Signal Ultra is kuha kami marksman, pag farmin namin yung marksman, pag malakas na yung marksman, takalaban tayo, panalo laro.
Exactly. Pero yun, speaking of dun nga sa Claude natin. Pero bago ang lahat, pakilala na muna natin dito, both of the teams, and welcome to the Land of Dawn, Signal Ultra Warriors dito. Damos will be used by ESO naman para sa Claude Nets. On the export, Tisanya, on the Lunox, and Pew for the Lolita.
For the side of Onage, going to be Bimo on the Rafaela. Nixu will play the Jawhead. Iniel as the Kimi. Lord will play the Grok. And CKTD na naka-mystery shop, the Esmeralda.
Look at this. Onage, apat na kagad sila dito. Esto Recho nasa alanganin. And first blood will be taken by Onage. At diretso kagad sila rito. First minute of the game pa lang, pasag na kagad dito. Inhibitor turret dito na Signal Ultra on the bottom lane.
This is how you play a Jawhead Kimi lineup.
Look at Pew. That positioning
Get it caught out, he will dash out, pero he will be using the flicker, and that is a lot of resources.
Exactly.
Na nag-burn dito ng side ng Onage. And look at this. Look at this aggression. This is hindi Mobile Legends to football yan.
Football talaga yan.
American football yan. Na pinapangga nila lahat ngayon ng sumusubok bumiba sa kanilang lineup. Napilitan lumaban. Pinatutun sa may pinakaharap. Tatlo yung nahuli. Makakauwi man sila dito, pero alam mo kung ano mangyayari, makakapag-push pa rin dito yung side ng Onage.
Exactly. And also the sustainability coming from Rafaela, that Bibo.
Vouch for, and that's something we have to watch out for.
Oh, Few is going to get caught there, and he gets bursted down by Bimo. That's a nice setup there with that Jawhead play by Onage.
And again, I think Onage right here, they knew their win condition, just play aggressively, because once that this Claude with the Bounty Hunter plus the Execute reach at least 10 minutes, it will be at the end of them. They cannot sustain, even with their healing from the Rafaela, the damage from the Blazing Duet is way too much.
Yeah, and right now, even the Rafaela just doesn't die right away anymore. So, big problem. Oh, look at that.
no.
D on the top
Wild
lane.
charge.
Being bullied by Lord and Inyel. Oh, man. That was... And to be done... Your very favorite hero does that to you. It's really very traumatic. Anyway.
Oh my. What? Even Eason here. Nixu's just easily dodging the even two ultimates. Oh my goodness.
Run!
Nixu.
Run, Nixu, run! I like it.
I like like it right there.
dodged
Oh my
everything.
goodness, that clutch right there. And he's also the reason why that the flicker is not available for Few.
That's right. I mean, he wasted so much of Few's efforts already on the Lolita. You can't block properly against Kimmy. You're being thrown all around the map.
Yeah, I mean, so far with this matchup, I'm not sure if Onage is going really hyper-aggressive. I mean, this is super hyper-aggressive. Like, I've never seen Geek Fam or SGD deploy this sort of strategy. Like, this is them. I'm not sure if they're really having fun or if it's really part of their game plan, but it's actually working for Onage PH.
Oh my god. Well, also with the rotations, they're just not giving any opportunity for Signal Ultra to take any kind of loop ups away with the wild charge, trying to hold down Tets. Tets will be able to flicker away. Desanya uses Darkening, but he doesn't able to spam his Chaos Assault. A nice ejector into Few. Few able to flicker away, and also Blazing Duet has been committed already by Signal Ultra. So it's time for them to back off.
It is,
Onage, they're just taking all of the resources away.
4 minutes in, it feels like 5 or 8 minutes in.
Well, look at the net worth, man. 5K advantage for Onage as early as 4 minutes.
1.2k gold per minute being an advantage being taken here by Onage. See, the Lord isn't even, the turtle isn't even up. Raniel's already pre-firing. Right? There was nothing there. He was shooting at it.
Oh no!
Nix
Oh no,
again.
Few! You're gonna get caught there, boy. It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter about the Numinum Blast. It won't gonna pop out anyway. Onage really destroying Signal Ultra.
That is the reason why they picked up the Jawhead, to mess up the Lolita, not giving any counter plays for Signal Ultra, which is really a wise decision there for Onage. And this is the Onage that we're looking for. The drafting, they just need to fix the drafting because all of them are really good right here. The execution, but again, Onage right here just flexing their muscles here. They knew that they almost had it. They knew that they're ahead when it comes to net worth, and now they take another tier 2 turret in the bottom lane. And where does Eason will farm now? Maybe in the top lane, but that will disrupt the farm of D. So that's already a nice lockdown here for the core hero of Signal Ultra.
You know what's funny? Oh my god.
Oh no, not again.
Oh no. Oh, that feels so bad to watch. Oh my god.
Nixu, wow! I think he'll be automatically the MVP of the game right here. Blade of Eptasis plus the Azure Blade here for this Jawhead. 3.5k net worth. Oh my goodness!
Yeah.
Even the Kimi already has his his Raptor Machete.
Yeah, right.
Yeah, he's got the Raptor
He's
Machete.
blocking everything, but he's getting damaged a lot as well. If you notice, man, Onage is running a signal composition, except for the Jawhead.
Yeah,
That's
true.
what. Those are the heroes Signal would usually pick up, which is funny.
Oh, Nixu. He saw D here, but D, he's just wasting a lot of time. He heard the ultimate from Rafaela, catching down the X-Spark. Desanya trying to run away, able to leap away from the wall, but the damage from the energy transformation there from Inyel will rip through the bulwark of this Lolita.
Yeah,
Man, that-
Signal is not expecting what Onage is showing right now. I can see they're completely flabbergasted right now with what Onage is showing.
It is. It should be flabbergasting right now. Want to go for turtle right away? 6.5 minutes. Placing
Wow.
duet, no damage, my friend. Being sustained really well by Bimo so far under Rafaela.
Yeah, it looks like Signal Ultra is already being, they're actually recklessly just moving forward. I don't see any proper Blazing Duet in this matchup. Like, he's just Blazing Duet in the air for no reason.
They are reacting to the movement of Nixu here, as you can see. Nixu went down, the rest of Signal Ultra also went down.
It's so threatening.
Yeah, it is really threatening right here, and you really don't want to play along with the play style of your enemy, of your opposing team, because if you do that, it will really mess up your positioning and also your play style. Oh
Yeah.
my goodness, your Signal Ultra really having a very difficult time, but still they are the comeback kings. But looking at this is a 10k net worth lead for Onage.
Oh
It's
boy.
nearly impossible for you to come back from this one, but still have faith for Signal Ultra, guys.
Yeah.
They can still get this, maybe.
I wonder if the Blazing Duet gonna have damage this time around, because earlier it did not.
Yeah.
Right now they're playing around it. Onage, top, mid, and bottom, they are pushing really nicely. They are want to go. They go in.
No.
Nixu.
Nixu.
If he can miss the ejector. he
Oh
would get
no!
caught.
He's gonna get slaughtered there. Numinum Blast popped out. Tets already gets a kill. And here comes Eason with the Blazing Duet. Finally an opening for Signal Ultra. But can it actually produce more? They get the momentum killed. Only they lose one if you're Onage.
That's a 1-for-1, and they're still going for the push.
I really think they can with the turtle book as well from the scheme right
Yeah,
here.
the Lord isn't even spawning yet, and the base looks like it got wiped by a hurricane. Oh man, especially when the Lord comes up in about in a minute, it should be a lot easier for Onage to make a push. CKTV though charges up the Falling Star Moon, tries to catch up Eason. Not gonna be an easy target.
Yeah, right now Easton has a Demon Hunter sword, so comeback potential for Signal Ultra is already happening at around 10%. So, but the early pressure, here's the thing, Onage is gonna have a difficult time repeating their strategy in the early games, because right now they're going to go through the tier 3 towers, so it's going to be real. The timing for them to pop out what Nixu's capable of doing, it might be a hurdle for them, because they could Signal Ultra could actually clog in one of those towers. They're not going to be separated anymore.
Man, all right. So Signal holding on for dear life here, just making sure they can clear the minion waves. If you have an export, that should be easy.
He's taking a lot of damage from the energy transformation from Miniel, and he really needs to play careful because he's the one delegated to go to the front lines and absorb all of those damage. While Few is almost down. 0-3-1 for Few, but again, with the tenacity emblem for Few, we can just survive a little bit more. But the problem is the ejector plus the unstoppable force for Nixie right here, always catching Lolita every single time.
Yeah, you know what I would do? I would throw the Esmeralda in the middle just for the hell of it. That's
I was thinking about that.
That was a double Falling Star Moon. Let's do it.
Yeah, it is.
Let's do it.
Well, Esmeralda loves to go inside those fights right there.
Yeah, really likes to go into those really compressed areas where you can get a lot of damage done with the Stardust Dance, as well as charge up your shield.
Yeah, I mean, Nixu's going to have a difficult time now, so why not you put it all to CKT? The SU's going to get caught there. Will he actually survive this? Nixu's just going to jump in. He doesn't
Falling Star!
CKT!
Oh my goodness!
Five members! Signal Ultra, you are melting away. Onage, they're going to destroy through the flanks of Signal Ultra. 4 members dead. The Falling Star Moon onto 5. Put that in the highlight reel, ladies and gentlemen.
Well, boys, we called it.
Wow.
We called it. That was
a great Falling Star Moon. I'm getting goosebumps right now, man. Oh my goodness. That perfect Falling Star Moon wins the game of Onage there, man. Oh my.
done in the blink of an eye. Wow. Was that an ejector? I hope that was an ejector. No, it was a Falling Star.
It's a Falling Star Moon. It's a Falling Star.
I was hoping for the Esmeralda grenade, but it didn't happen. Either way, it could have happened.
Yeah, could have happened.
In that one, and it was beautifully done. Again, congratulations, Onage. They got their first win.
Yes, yes. Woo.
They got their first win.
Onage.
Congratulations.
I think it's their time right now. They're feeling it. They're feeling it. But I really thought that Signal already had it from after the first game.
Yeah,
It's
they did.
The miscommunication. It was. You can really feel the miscommunication right there.
Yeah, it was massive.
Really got caught off guard.
Yeah, game 2 was a complete miscommunication. Game 3 was just Signal Ultra getting freaked out, but it's insane strategy by Onage.
Again, Bimo on game 2 was just so good on the Kaja, and now this time around, it was respected. Rafaela, not so much, but did the job as well. And then into this Kimi. The Kimi that bullied him over and over again in this game. It was really brutal to watch.
It was a really wise decision there while shutting down Eason's lane. Again, Eason's with the Blazing Duet, it doesn't have any damage at all. Again, that messed up the momentum of Signal Ultra. Looking at our highlights right here, ladies and gentlemen. As you can see, he got bullied once, he got bullied twice, 2 minutes in. A nice ejector for Nixu right there on his jawhead. Just picking off every single time. And also with that wild charge, disabling D.
Oh, man.
Yeah, I mean, Nixu has such an important factor in this early game for Onage, because it was through his engagements that allow Onage to get these early burst toss. Like, I was expecting that with the counterplay by Signal Ultra early on, that maybe Signal Ultra could snatch a kill, but that wasn't the case. Because if you look at the lineup of Onage, it's so tanky, it's so sustainable, it's really difficult for Signal Ultra to respond in this early game barrage by Onage.
Yeah, and again, the Lolita was just thrown non-stop by this Jawhead as well. Who would have called it? Who would have thought the Jawhead was going to be the big difference maker? Oh, we have to save that. We have to clip that and post that somewhere, because people has to see how well done that Falling Star Moon was.
And also the Kimi. There's no way that they can at least reach the Kimi in the back lines right there. There's a lot of space given for this Kimi. And talking about Kimi, he is our match MVP for Game 3. And 406 building damage at 23k, damage received 13k. So damage dealt also 14k.
It is massive. Again, it was a big reason why D couldn't go in with the FAMs. Usually if you're a FAMs, you want to go up straight to the enemy's face, but that did not happen in this game.
Yeah, it's really difficult, especially with the Ice Queen Wanda to Inyal as well. Like, you jump in, you're going to get slowed down, and you got the Raptor's Machete. It's just going to penetrate through everything. It's really not a good Damus game, especially that this Kimi has already reached its highest peak.
Yeah, the added slow is also pretty big as well. So, again, beautiful game there being done by Onage there. And they're finally on the board. Finally. They're on the board, ladies
They had
and
the
gentlemen.
first win.
Yeah, first win for the day for Onage. Again, very, very well played there. 4 signals still. I mean, I feel like they should have gotten that second
They should have
game.
gone game 2.
Should have gotten game 2.
I can't get over it.
The small mistakes, those are the ones that actually make up the winning formula, the winning factor of a team worthy of the MPL playoffs. Hopefully you guys watch out for that as well. MPL Season 4, we're just starting here. I'm Rockhard.
And my name is Wonderdrift, and
My name is TTZ, ladies and gentlemen, and we have just witnessed
Game
a very first series right here. We still have 2 series more, so don't go anywhere. And also like and share the stream.
Yeah, heart and share, or if you share it enough, if you have more viewers here, we might give away more codes. You know what to do,
Sure.
guys.
Yeah.
All right, I'll see you guys later. Again, do not touch that browser. Mobile Legends Vanguard Professional League Season 4 continues after this.
It's so graceful and charming.
Download for free Mobile Legends Bang Bang.
出ておいで、僕の炎。
俺一人で十分だ。
いずれみんな死ぬんですよ。出番だよ。
やるぞ。
いや、double kill. Impossible. 出ておいで、僕の炎。はい、死んでください。Legendary.
Download for free Mobile Legends Bang Bang. 俺一人で十分だ。
Let's play together. You have slain an enemy. Godlike. Mega kill. You have slain an enemy. Triple kill. She's coming. Legendary. Our turret is under attack. Double kill.
Download for free Mobile Legends Bang Bang.
出番だよ。The dance of the swans is so graceful and charming. Swan. Double kill.
Mobile Legends Bang Bang.
出ておいで僕の炎。
俺一人で十分だ。
いずれみんな死ぬんですよ。出番だよ。
MPL PH Season 4. Joining me today are these lovely and tall gentlemen. My name is Leo, and I have here Wonderdrift and TDZ. Fellas, how you doing?
Oh, we're doing great so far. I mean, we had a really intense matchup early between Signal and Onage. I mean, there were a lot of strategies out of nowhere.
Yeah, the Jawhead pick right there. Wow. Yeah, it was a really cheesy pick right there.
Cheesy?
Yeah.
Cheesy.
It was a really cheesy pick.
I'm hoping to get me some dairy in the next matchup. We are about to go into this second series to be casted today. For your enjoyment, ladies and gentlemen, it's going to be Geek Fam going up against EVOS PH. But before that, let's talk about the things that we loved from last game. Y'all mentioned the Jawhead pick, which was quite cheesy for you, TDZ. Wonderdrift, anything else you saw from that 2-1 series going the mile here for going the distance for Signal Ultra and of course Onage?
Yeah, what I noticed about that matchup was that Onage actually plays well when they're playing their comfortable heroes. Like, if they go against what the current trend is, they actually are performing well. Like, if they're actually also experimenting and having fun, it actually produces a good morale in them, because from what I've heard earlier, they were actually surprised that a random hero that they picked actually worked out well, you know?
A random hero.
Yeah, I don't know who that random hero that they picked out of nowhere, but they realized that, oh, this is actually interesting. It's actually producing the best results. So it was a fun matchup indeed by Onage.
And that's what I'm surprised by. Onage, over the past few weeks, have had quite the rough road ahead of them. And that's, you and I saw that whenever they would go, we would be like, Onage, come on.
Yeah.
This is classic Onage at this point. And yeah, over the past few weeks, it's nice to see them progress. But still, they did concede one match here to Signal Ultra. Besides the cheese, anything else you think were keys to the victory of Onage in the past matchup?
Well, it was a very different Onage. We've seen for Game 2 and Game 3, it is because that they're able to capitalize on their advantage that Kimi and Rafaela pick. They're shut down the lane of Isan right there. There's really no space for that Claude to farm. And I think it was the start of the snowball of Onage right there. They're able to prioritize really well. They're able to snowball that hyper-aggressive plays that we're talking about earlier. They perfectly executed really well. So I think that if Onage can continue those kind of drafting and also those kind of play style, it will be really effective for them.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, I think we are more than halfway through the season here at MPL PH, and yeah, it's looking really risky for those teams in the bottom of our brackets. And just before the previous match ended, that was actually Signal Ultra and Onage. But after that, I'm not sure how the numbers are looking like. Onage may have helped secure themselves a place in the top 8 in the playoffs for the grand finals. But let's look at Signal Ultra. They were bringing out a few interesting new strategies. They did shelf for this game, for at least today, their team captain Yako, and instead let Isan play. And we saw Isan pick up a new hero. We saw Isan get the Kimi in Game 1, and of course we saw Few go ahead and get the Estes, which led them to the victory. Anything else you saw in Signal Ultra that led to today's performance?
It was a very good drafting for Game 1 right there. There's really a very slim chance for Onage to come back from that one. Imagine, they have Kimi, they have Harriet, they have Terizla, Estes. Just those 4 heroes right there can really wreak up havoc, especially for early game to mid game fights. And Onage didn't have any kind of answer for that. But for Game 2, I think it was just like a little bit of miscommunication. They already had for the early game and then just slowly pummeled down afterwards. So I think those are one of the things that they need to practice on, or to at least enhance on, is the team communication.
And Game 3 was quite just, you know, no words for Game 3. I just did not notice the crowd just quiet down and say, oh, it's over. Wonderdrift, any thoughts about Signal Ultra for the last match we watched?
I felt like it's actually a good adjustment for Signal Ultra to actually change their game plan, because normally when we look at a guy like Few, he's normally associated like as a marksman. I mean, he tried to transition as a mage, and then at some points it did look awkward, but like, especially when he plays Esmeralda. And then at some points you see like Desenia exploring with like a Hayabusa pick, which is really good. It's making them like unpredictable, because in the previous weeks we all know what Signal Ultra is doing. They're like sticking to who they were in the previous seasons, that most of the teams have already read their game plan. Like Execration were able to counteract their late game prowess. And then, yeah, you did mention the communication errors in game number 2. And in game number 2, the surprising factor about Signal Ultra in that matchup was that if you look at the draft, Signal Ultra is supposed to win that matchup, and it's those communication factors that really hampered him. Like, you got the Martis. This is supposed to be a good Martis game in game number 2 because you had like the Kaja. Martis could actually counter that. You have the Gush on there as well, which is another thing that Martis could actually destroy, but we didn't see that in that game.
You mentioned the Team Wonderdrift, that one of these next competitors are actually have fought against, and that was Execration, right? Execration was, I believe, the last opponent of EVOS PH.
Geek Fam.
Oh, sorry, Geek Fam, right. Geek Fam went up against Execration, and they lost.
Yeah.
Right? So on the other end, though, there is EVOS PH going up against Archangel, wherein they won.
Yeah.
Right? So it's opposite sides of the spectrum when you're looking at players who come from either end. One is coming in as a victor against the previous champion, and that's EVOS PH. And on the other end, you have your Geek Fam, a rather new squad that actually was taken out by a long-time member of the MLBB esports scene in the Philippines. What are going on in these two teams' mindsets right now? Let's talk about EVOS PH first. Coming into this matchup against Geek Fam, what are the things that they have to keep in mind, or what are their keys to victory?
I felt like if you look at the play style of Geek Fam PH against Execration, they'll have to play very aggressive. I mean, that's their overall approach. Like, Darkman and Why Not, they love to move around the map. And if you're EVOS PH, as much as possible, you want to make sure that you can actually defend an early game barrage from Darkman and Why Not. You have to expect that, and you have to make some adjustments. Like, they were able to contradict Archangel's potential early game strategy because of the fact that they're moving like on a four-man rotations all around the cylinders of the map, which I think they should repeat here against Geek Fam PH.
So watch out for Darkman, watch out for Why Not.
Yeah.
That's your mindset for EVOS PH. DDZ.
Well, for me, it's all about. Well, we started seeing EVOS PH going on a separate, going on a different role for Haji and also for Dufen. Dufen playing more of a Lilia type, more of a back end mage, and then Haji's going for the full hand for a full aggressive cushion. So I think that is effective for EVOS PH. But well, adding to what you mentioned earlier, just be aware that Why Not and also the rest of the crew, and also when it comes to drafting of Geek Fam, is quite unorthodox. It's more like of a Onyx PH draft for me.
Yeah, Geek Fam, one of the few teams to actually make the triple fighter line of work.
They're the one who successfully pulled that off, the triple fighter combination. So you need to be very aware of those kind of drafting. Again, focus more on Dufen and also Hajis when it comes to, because they're the ones really playing aggressively on the side of EVOS PH. Not technically aggressive as a team, but as long as they can maintain those rotations, make sure that all of their resources have already been taken out or prevent Geek Fam from stealing them. I think they will be okay here.
Yep, so today, ladies and gentlemen, those are what you can expect from these boys in blue and white. Dexter, Killer, Honda, Haji, Dufen, and Bon Chan. You guys mentioned a few strategies that they should watch out for. I personally want to see what Killer is going to be bringing to the table here. Of course, Dufen here very capable of flashy plays himself, but in the past few weeks, it's really Killer who has caught my eye. Ladies and gentlemen, EVOS Esports PH coming up next, going up against Geek Fam PH. Let's talk about Geek Fam PH. What does Geek Fam PH have to watch out for here? What are their keys to victory, and what weaknesses can they exploit from EVOS PH?
One thing they have to watch out, we did mention about Haji and Doof, and they could actually provide the X factor for EVOS PH. Like, the Geek Fam in that previous matchup against Execration, they were completely caught off guard by the surprise rotations. I mean, the surprise split pushing rotations by Execration. They have to watch out for that because, you know, Geek Fam PH, they thought that it's only Zapnu who's going to be like the primary pusher, but then they realized, oh, May could actually do it, and then Sire could actually do it as well. So that's one thing that Geek Fam PH would certainly want to avoid, because in that game, they had a really good early game if you're Geek Fam PH, but then they failed to recognize that there's a potential comeback factor because of the space given to like May and to Sire as well.
We are in the MPL, ladies and gentlemen. This is the pinnacle of Mobile Legends esports in the Philippines. and dare I say in the world. So yeah, every single player in this league is a threat. So it would be a major blunder on your side if you turn a blind eye to anyone. So yeah, potential comeback from any of these players if you let them go. Very good Wonder Drift, thank you very much. I think Geek Fam should do that. How about TDZ? Any thoughts? Any weaknesses you think Geek Fam can exploit?
Well, for Geek Fam, they can. I really think they're most in par with EVOS PH for me, because again, well, all of them are great, or all of them can are well disciplined, especially for inside of Geek Fam. They just need not to overextend, because again, well, EVOS PH can really exploit it, or any simple opening for any kind of opponents right there, they can exploit it in an instant. Again, EVOS PH they have the players who can really play Gusion really well, and with that Gusion play style, one overextension, it's an automatic pick-off for EVOS PH. So be careful, be mindful of your positioning, and I think that's one of the best ways for them to play around with EVOS PH, and then just try to play accordingly with their draft.
Crazy. Gusion is quite the hot commodity right now. Not often seen banned very often, but yeah, sometimes teams will leave it open, and then when it does get picked up, he does go quite the coin flip, right? Sometimes he's so good, sometimes he just, overextends. But yeah, check it out. Geek Fam PH right now on your screens. It's Why Not, Curtizi, Kingpin, Dogman, Escanor, and Gio is here. Ladies and gentlemen, this is the opponent that EVOS PH is going to be facing up next. You mentioned as well the discipline that Geek Fam here has, and I think that comes from their experience, right? Some of their members actually have been taken from other teams in the MPL. Some of them actually were taken from other leagues here in the Philippines, a lot of other major ones. And of course, some of them came from other esports titles.
Yeah.
So you can expect that kind of veterancy, that kind of composition, that kind of wisdom coming from players like those you see in Geek Fam PH. What about EVOS PH? What are the weaknesses? What are the chinks in the chain of the armor of Geek Fam PH? What can EVOS exploit here?
Well, one thing that EVOS PH is vulnerable at is that they're so hyper dependent on Haji and Dufin. Like we've seen that in the previous weeks, but I'm slowly seeing that EVOS is actually improving. Like I'm seeing Killer and Dexter actually make up for the slack. Like Haji and Dufin, sure, they are the primary stars, but then with Dexter's impact, with the impact of who did I mention earlier? I forgot. Okay, Dexter and Killer, yeah. Killer, it actually created space for the synergy for EVOS PH. And yeah, I mean, finding a weakness now for EVOS is looking problematic, because before that used to be their like major flaw, but nowadays it's looking like it's nothing. It's insignificant now, this MPL. And Geek Fam, they gotta watch out, because you don't expect what this new and improved EVOS PH is capable of doing now.
Here's what's crazy. I don't know how to find a weakness in Geek Fam. Right now, they're just so solid, and they're also quite the enigma. It's true, we've seen some of these players already in the league. Some of them are very good professionals. Some of them are from other esports titles. But here in Mobile Legends, here in the MPL Season 4, we just don't know exactly how they can be defeated so easily, right? They've been performing very solid. I think they're still on the better half of the upper half of our brackets, and it's quite a threat against EVOS PH here. So, TDZ, any other thoughts? Any other ways you think Geek Fam here could be taken down by EVOS PH? Any weaknesses?
Well, before EVOS PH, they're quite slow when it comes to being online. Well, most of the time, both of the core heroes of EVOS PH are just farming. But right now, after seeing the last series, they went with
Archangel.
Archangel are defending champions.
Yeah, when EVOS beat Archangel.
It was. It was a very different EVOS PH right there. Most of their playstyle right now is more of a duo or trio rotation. So again, they're more focused on. I think they focus more into the early game, and I think that is the problem before of EVOS PH. And I think with the recent change, they just need to pick off the core heroes. That's the only weakness that I can see right now for EVOS PH, because they're really playing very spectacularly, and especially in the previous series.
And it really helps that they have a coach now in the form of Coach Payne. Yeah, previously from Ren Esports. The presence of a coach really alleviates a lot of the pressure on your captain and your players, given that they can help with drafting, they can help with keeping players in line, they can help with more macro strategies. And on the other end though, on the side of GeekFam PH, very, very popular and beloved in Philippine esports right now. Jesse Vash is actually the coach for GeekFam PH. Any thoughts on how a coach could help a team be led to victory? What are your thoughts on that? Do you think it's essential? Do you think it's significant to the changes and the growth of a team? Wonderdrift.
I felt like a coach nowadays is so crucial because of the fact that coaches, they have a different perspective about games. Like the players, they see things based on what they're looking in front of their mobile phones. The coaches, they have a much more broader perspective, and they can actually pinpoint some of the things that the other team is doing. Because here's the thing, coaches, because they watch the replays, they watch the big screen itself, they could see that, okay, this hero is actually getting an emblem. This hero already has like a certain itemization within that minute. And so in the next coming game, they could just inform the team and say, look just what happened in game number 1. So what do we have to do in game number 2? And I've already made my adjustments. Here's what we are supposed to do.
I see, I totally agree. It's a different point of view. It's a different strategy. Ladies and gentlemen, let's get into it. Game 1 in this best of 3 series. EVOS PH going up against GeekFam PH. Here's the draft. EVOS is on the play. GeekFam going to be responding. Taking out already Joe and Harith. For GeekFam, it's Minotaur and Kimi. What's going on? Why is Minotaur seeing such an early ban here?
It's actually surprising because normally we don't see Minotaur getting banned a lot. But I guess because of the fact that EVOS loves to play very aggressive against, and we've seen that against Archangel, they might as well watch out this one hero that could potentially disrupt their early game approach, and that's the Minotaur.
I see here, EVOS now getting that first pick. Export was quite the shaky record in the MPL. I don't know exactly if I'm going to be putting my eggs in that basket, but GeekFam here locking in Terizla, a breakout star in the MPL. Very, very good win rate, very good performance even for losing teams, as well locking in the Kufra. Love to see him back. Thoughts on GeekFam's first 2 picks here? Tats?
Well, for GeekFam right here, they're more of a control tempo. Again, they have two tanky heroes who can control in a very large AoE. We told you to have the penalty zone, and almost all of the skills of Kufra here has a lot of disable the knockback, or rather the knock up from the Tyrant's Revenge, the slow, and also the disable from any kind of flicker or any kind of movements from the bouncing ball. That's a lot of sustain. That's a lot of control for GeekFam right here. And one of the things that I've noticed with GeekFam is they're more of a their drafting is just concealing the core heroes, preventing the opposite team to counter it out. So they prefer picking up those two tanky heroes, maybe a support into a tank, and then go transitionally slowly into the core heroes draft.
I see. So protect Kingpin, protect Kirkizi, and we win.
Yeah.
All right. On the side of EVOS PH, I definitely agree though. For the side of GeekFam, that seems like a sound strategy, and it seems like we might be the first ones to figure that out, because EVOS PH here taking out the offlaner, but yeah, GeekFam still here has a solid pickup for marksman and cores. Ranger still up, carry still up, but yeah, let's talk about EVOS PH. Esmeralda and Rafaela. I love seeing Rafaela early picked here. Wondered if any thoughts about these ladies right now.
Well, for the side of EVOS PH, with this Rafaela pick, you could expect an early rotation from EVOS PH. But also with this Rafaela pick and this X-Borg and Esmeralda pick, you want to prolong the fight, all right? Because you got the high sustain. And then you can also produce a lot of damage as long as your Esmeralda and your X-Borg are further alive in every team fight. So that actually helps a lot for EVOS PH to dish out in front of GeekFam PH in case they want to go on the aggressive.
It looks like team fights on the side of EVOS PH are going to be lasting what, like 2 minutes, 3 minutes on average. We go into the second phase of banning here. Hayabusa taken out as well as Lilia. this is such a different meta from what we've seen in the past couple of months. I love how Mobile Legends has evolved, at least here in the MPL, as fast and as wild as it has. Geek Fam picking up the Selena and the Thams, so we're still missing one more core on the side of Geek Fam. EVOS PH locking in the Grok and the Kagura. Is that enough damage on the side of EVOS PH?
Well, they do have a lot of damage here from the semi-umbrella, and also, but they have a lot of crowd control rather for EVOS PH here. You need to keep in mind of the Yin Yang overturn, and then they have a lot of follow-up after that. They can go ahead and initiate after with the Falling Star Moon, or rather with the Less Insanity from Export. They have a lot of damage output here for EVOS PH. But I'm wondering with Geek Fam right here, they went for another triple melee core heroes here, or melee heroes here for the side of Geek Fam. And I think the damage is not enough per se, because again, Lunox is still Lunox, but the scaling of this Lunox is, before it was less than 5 minutes, but right now around 7 minutes, if ever he went for
He acts quite a bit more like a core, not like a marksman almost, with those chaos assaults and those basics, right? So, looking at the lineups right now, Geek Fam PH versus EVOS Esports PH. One on the side of EVOS, it's a very, very in-your-face lineup, right? There was just one ranged hero, if I'm not mistaken, that's Rafaela. All the others just want to go in your face, just fight a big Royal Rumble. But on the other side, Geek Fam here, double mage setup, no marksman as well. What are your calls, ladies and gentlemen? What are your calls down at home? And how about you, Tads, Wonder Drift? Who do you think is going to take this?
I feel like Geek Fam could actually take this. One, I love the Terizla pick. I feel like it could burst out a lot of damage onto Export. Like, I've seen yesterday that Terizla's damage could actually melt the Faraga armor instantly. And with the Lunox as well in your disposal, like, that's going to produce a lot and destroy any form of frontliners there on the side of EVOS PH.
Alright, Geek Fam for Wonder Drift here. I do like me the Terizla and the Lunox. I still think she's around. She's not dead, not by any means. TDZ, what's your call?
I'll go for EVOS PH right here. Well, the reason is because they have a lot of AoE. I do believe that MLBB is more of a teamfight-oriented game, so they have a lot of AoE here. They can control it, Geek Fam easily. And other than the Body of Smith of Terizla, because we've seen a lot of Terizla right here, the Body of Smith can provide a lot of defense and armor. But we need to keep in mind that the fire missiles for Export, once you've reached that threshold, that physical damage will turn into true damage that will pierce through the Body of Smith.
And you keep dropping batteries just left and right.
The batteries right there.
Yeah.
Once you pick it up, again, the Faraga armor is almost have at least 80% uptime.
Alright, so it looks like we are split up here at the caster's desk, ladies and gentlemen. It's gonna be EVOS PH going up against Geek Fam. It's gonna be game one. We are split 50-50. One says the Lunox and the Terizla are gonna be leading their way into victory for Geek Fam. The other says, hey, don't count out Export just yet. And of course, Rafaela gonna be making the difference here. I myself, I think I want to see Export's record be fixed. I want to see Export do well here. And of course, I want to see Rafaela, right? Rafaela has just made a comeback alongside the other support hero in Estes. And it's these moments I live for in MOBAs. When heroes just come back out of nowhere, start a renaissance, and just say, hey, we're still around. Come by us, get some skins, and it just makes the meta wide open, right? Ladies and gentlemen, we're about to step into the Land of Dawn. Hope you join us for the rest of the evening. We've got another match coming up for you, but this right here is game one in the best of three. EVOS PH going up against Geek Fam PH. Let's introduce our players.
And on the side of EVOS PH, we have Killer going to be playing as Export, Haji going to be playing as Esmeralda, Dexter going to be playing as Rafaela, Honda as that Grok, and Doofhead as Kagura.
And on the side of Geek Fam PH, we have Why Not playing the Terizla Dogman on the Gupra, Curtizi on the Selena, Escanor playing the Thams, and Kingpin as the Lunox.
Yeah, but so far you see that early game damage by Why Not is really producing a lot of havoc every time he goes for this execution strike. I mean, that could be a matchup night here by EVOS in the early game.
However, a lot of aggression here being replied by EVOS PH, and Dupin successfully taking down the blue buff away from Geek Fam. And again, that's one of the most important factors here in the game of EVOS PH. You need to establish a very good early game for this draft to be effective. Again, they most of the time they're more focused on those level 4 power spikes. Once they get the level 4 power spikes, it's already go time.
Yeah, as soon as it goes level 4 here, they can just dive as deep as they want.
Yeah.
And that's not an understatement. On the side of Geek Fam PH though, they're gonna need the penalty zone. They're gonna need Dockman here to stop the barrage as soon as possible. Here we go, just missing the Ancient Blessing. He's gonna go down. Honda taken out by Curtizi. Dexter looking really low as well. Why not using the body twist to block the damage onto Curtizi? And he goes in, same umbrella. Yin Yang overturn, killing that Tirisla. Why not drop underneath his own turret? It's currently 1-1.
That was a very good pickup here for Doofen. He knew and he understands that Why Not picked up the Festival of Blood. So he does have, because every time that you will get a kill, if ever you have the Festival of Blood, you will get an additional 1% spellbound. And as long as you can control Why Not, preventing him from getting those a lot of spellbound right there, you can survive the execution right into the penalty zone. So a very good pickup here for USPH, prioritizing the main, or at least the one of the best heroes to control.
Oh, look at that though. Honda gets killed though. There's a jump in here by Geek Fam PH. They could actually go for more there, but Dockman is also low in HP. Can he actually survive? And it's actually a pretty even exchange there. But it's actually not going to end as Why Not is going to jump in with a penalty zone. Will he get the finishing touches? No, apparently it does not.
Perfectly timing for Dexter there. I think he went for a Purify, preventing any kind of pull from the penalty zone. And now that they knew that the penalty zone is already down, they can really play more aggressively now. I think they're just waiting for the Kagura. Now they can rotate much more faster.
Definitely. I mean, so far you have to watch out for that penalty zone because that could be like the factor that could shut down X-Borg and Esmeralda in this game. I mean, a perfectly timed ability on that Charisma is actually going to help a lot here on Geek Fam PH. And here they go. Dockman's going to go for that bouncing ball. Honda going to try to run away with the rest of the team. And Dexter trying to... Oh, no! Tyrant's Revenge, Tyrant's Rage, Cosmic Vision popped out there. But, of course, Rafaela with a save.
And also with the wild charge for them to disengage. However, with that, Geek Fam already have a much more better positioning for them to take the first turtle, and it will be in the hands of the Selena. So again, those arrows will hit that much. So Evo's PH needs to stay careful. They also need to look at the minimap.
Yeah, I mean, that was perfectly timed indeed. As you can see here, Escanor going 1v1 with Killer. With that Inferno popped out, he could actually survive very long, but he's got to watch out though. Those fire missiles, they introduce a lot of pure damage, and if you're a Geek Fam PH, you might as well put that in your dossier. The pure damage is going to be something that could disrupt it in every team fight.
But as early as it is, as soon as the Towns picks up the Bloodlust Acid, could be a fight one, but Dockman here jumping in with the bouncing ball, just disrupting the lineup of Evo's PH here in mid. It's a 3-man coalition on both sides. Kingpin doing very well for himself here for someone who got killed very early on, right? 1-1-1. If Kingpin uses up, he will survive, but underneath his own turret, this is going to be Killer running away, taking down the Towns really low. Escanor needs to back out of here. Dockman as well getting the most of that power of nature, but he's going to survive and just live another day.
Yep, indeed. Kingpin is quite crucial indeed. There's a Guardian's Barrier popped out though, but Geek Fam, they could actually run away unless if Honda has other options though. Power of Nature can actually prepare something. Dockman goes for the defensive runaway, but they got to catch on to Kingpin. It's going to be good. There's a wild charge onto Kingpin, and he gets slaughtered there by Doofen.
Again, these rotations from Evo's PH is proving, after transitioning to the bottom lane, they're looking for more. They're trying to catch out Escanor, Doofen on the backside, trying to kite it out with the same umbrella, but they might be able to trap them in the falling star moon plus the power of nature. Curtizi will not survive, and Haji will secure that kill.
Dockman here behind enemy lines. Honda smells blood. He is going to take a little bit of a Guardian's Wall and just waiting until the Esmeralda jumps in, but it looks like Falling Star Moon is on cooldown. Dockman still wanting to stay. He is over-welcoming his own power, and he is taken down by Haji. There's a kill right there. Here's Escanor to the rescue, throwing out them sickles, but he is going to do better to back out. Now picking up the Bloodlust Axe.
You know, the beauty about that team fight there was Geek Fam was able to get the turret in the bottom lane, and they're able to push that lane. So Evo's PH, sure, they were able to like get something in those team fights, able to win those team fights, those early rotations, but they have to watch out because Geek Fam, they're actually showing what they've learned against Execration in this matchup against Evo's PH.
And yeah, I think that was a worthy trade. Taking that turret down to half, cutting down the first tier turret for one or two teammates. I think that's fine. Escanor here getting a lot of flack from Killer, but he's gonna be able to back out those hops very good. more damage and movement speed. That's safe, but he is just trying to push back Honda and Killer here so that he can save no turret.
And they're also trying to position themselves for the next turtle here. I think 2 members, or maybe 3 members of Evo's PH, they knew that something is up for Geek Fam here. However, with the control from the fire missiles, pushing back and also preventing any kind of pure damage here on the side of Escanor, that's one of the best ways for them to push back and also try to zone out the rest of the Geek Fam.
Indeed, I like the early aggression by Evo's PH. They're actually getting a lot, like their heroes like Dupin and Haji, who we talked about a lot earlier. They're now getting online because of like these aggressions by Evo's PH. And just look at that, like Geek Fam, they're struggling to find a proper positioning in this matchup because of what Honda is doing so far.
Oh, looking at the items here, 301 for Haji. Went for the Calamity Reaper, and then he will go for the Feather of Heaven after that. And once he got that Feather of Heaven, the damage, the basic attacks will just literally pop up. And also a lot of magical damage here on top of the Falling Starman, and also Dexter went for the Necklace of Durance. But just reducing the lifesteal factor for Wynot and also Escanor.
Yeah, indeed. As Dogman is forced to go for that bouncing ball, can he actually run away? Kingpin tries to slow things down, but so far he's gonna get caught there. Guardian Barrier popped out. No, but that's a nice stun by Wynot out of nowhere. They get a catch onto Dexter. Dogman chasing, but there's a Falling Star Moon out of nowhere. Curtizi is forced to run away together with Wynot, but Curtizi, oh no, Power of Nature by Honda slows him down. Wynot? He's actually very low in HP, and he's trying to go and sacrifice his life. He's trying to go and he's going to flicker in with the Executioner strikes, but it doesn't really matter. And Geek Fam PH just losing the top unless if Dogman could do something, but that's highly unlikely as Haji already with the exclamation point.
Okay, that was interesting. Geek Fam played the Evo's PH strength. They made that team fight last so long, even if it was underneath their own turrets. That was a losing battle.
Yeah.
I really agree. And Evos here with, well, as I mentioned earlier, this is a different Evos. They're playing aggressively right now because before they were really slow when it comes to basic. But then again, with this rotation, the pick from Dexter right here for the Raphael, like giving the additional movement speed, the ultimate for the Alvarez, so he's always just go for that positioning or go for that additional scope every single time that he will get the basic attack. So with that, you will not be forced to just stay in the lane, go for the babysit, just roam around the map, you will eventually get that goal.
Yep, indeed. And the fact that Haji is 502, as you see, a Tyrant's Rage onto Honda, but then the 502 with that Mystery Shop emblem is really is a huge momentum boost onto Evo's PH. So this Esmeralda, Haji's actually gonna go online. That's why he's going aggressive anytime, because of the fact that he's got the Calamity Reaper and he's got the high sustain as well.
He doesn't care. Honda here just making sure that Haji is able to deal the damage. Dogman getting a lot from this Kagura. And Rafaela hitting them up, but it's not gonna be enough. He is gonna drop here underneath his own turret. Dexter responsible for the kill. Turret going down as well. Big fight down bot and up top in the mid. It's Haji taken down. Double kill. Kingpin as well. Oracle now on the down, but it might be too little too late.
It's way too late indeed. Again, the enemy, Evo's PH already has the Necklace of Durance, so it will not help you that much. And Evo's, or rather Haji, his way to fat right in 702 with the Feather of Heaven plus the Calamity Reaper. He can just abuse the fact that the shields will also protect her from any kind of damage at all. We've seen that earlier. He positioned himself between the tier 1 and also the tier 2. That's how confident he is right now.
I think the right word is thick.
Yeah.
A little thick right now.
Yeah.
A little thick right now. Crazy how Honda is able to just take the turret underneath. Why not? He doesn't care. Haji here with the Falling Star Moon pushing away the rest of Geek Fam. Here's the pull in from the export. A lot of real damage coming in underneath their own turret, and it looks like Tam is going to be really low. Why not take it on Honda? The revenge is real, ladies and gentlemen. Dogman as well dealing some damage. Why not going to be backing out? He is heating up, and they are going to take that kill 1-0, protecting their own turret. It's looking good for Geek Fam right now, but they are down 9,000 gold.
Yep, and that gold right there, it almost has the 3-4 item advantage for Evo's PH, and they can just take all the outer turrets and then just choke Geek Fam inside their base right here, steal all the blues. One of the most effective way for them to counter it out. But however, why not here, getting trapped inside with a nice item revenge here, knocking up Haji, but Haji's shield is way too much, only 50% HP, trying to chase out Kingpin, but Kingpin with the Case Assault is able to kite them out, able to kite out Haji, forcing him to go back. However, the Lord is already marching into the top lane and they need to defend every single member right there.
Star Moon onto Stray. This This is going to look like a nightmare for Geek Fam PH. It's a nice jump in though. Escanor, he's not going to survive it. Even though with that Inferno popped out, the Lord has taken the tier 3 turret. It's not going to be enough for Escanor, but he's got to kill him to Dexter. But it's just nothing or insignificant for Geek Fam PH. And they're going to lose some more there. This is going to be over now.
Can I get an amen? Lord swinging at that core. Why not doing his best to defend? Is it going to be enough? It looks like there's a chance here for Geek Fam to get back, but it's not going to be enough. Ladies and gentlemen, EVOS PH takes game 1. This was pretty good for Xborg's win rate, ladies and gentlemen. He now is positive, at least for this matchup. And Rafaela himself did some pretty good work right there. I saw that one moment wherein the ult came out right at the perfect time. CC able to be able to lock in the rest of Geek Fam and just let the true damage rain. So I think that's one for me and the TDZ.
Well, I think those perfect falling star moon, man, wrecked up your predictions right there.
My first loss in predictions.
So well right there. Ladies and gentlemen, it's EVOS going to take this game 1. Check it out, early game, they kept trading, right? Early game was all about the trades. But as soon as Geek Fam started to overstay their own welcome and even strategically trade, see, down bottom here, it's why not going for that turret by himself. I think they let Doof and Haji just go ham.
That's true.
That's such a good source of damage. Magic and Magic Hybrid, and of course Killer's Real. That's okay. I'm sorry I questioned it. I said earlier, is that enough damage? Apparently it was more.
Yeah, it was more, and also the perfect positioning of the same umbrella into the Yin Yang overturn of Doof and really messed up. I think there was a time where he caught 3 enemy heroes and then pulled them back together. That's a lot of disabled time for EVOS PH. And with that pull, it was also a nice opportunity for this Esmeralda to use his Falling Star Moon.
Perfect.
Yes,
Just
indeed.
sequencing, right? Sequencing.
Yeah, I mean, I also noticed that there's a split push option there by Geek Fam PH by Terizla, which is actually a good response. But then you realize that Terizla is only good at clearing waves. When it comes to towers, he's not going to produce a lot. And Lunox doesn't even look like a pusher for the side of Geek Fam PH. So there's no counterplay available for Geek Fam PH in his lineup.
Yeah, Geek Fam PH's lineup looks like it would be much better ahead. Right?
Yeah.
You have to be ahead early to be able to make the most of that. But yeah, right here, right now, ending the game in just under 12 minutes. EVOS walks away with the W. This is the first time I've seen Geek Fam taken out this way. Like they usually would be dominant at some point, and the only way they would lose is through a comeback. But right here, right now, it's like EVOS has their number.
Yep, indeed. I mean, of course, you looked at all the movements here by EVOS PH. I like the early rotations by EVOS PH. It was really clinical. Like, they were just hunting on the right targets. They go to the top, they go to the mid, they go to the bot, just making sure that Geek Fam PH has no proper spacing. And add the fact that Esmeralda was able to get these random kills out of nowhere early on, it actually helped her a lot. Like, it made her a major impact. It made Haji a major impact in the mid to the late game.
That mystery shop looked like a bounty hunter.
Yeah.
Could have been purple, ladies and gentlemen. Could have been purple. As you may have noticed, I took off my coat. That was a really hot matchup. Even if it did go just the average 12 minutes, I still felt like there was more that happened in that matchup than in others. But yeah, let's see if they are going to go the distance here. It's do or die for Geek Fam. EVOS PH could walk away with a 2-0. As you guys mentioned, this is a new EVOS PH, and I'm looking forward to them breaking through the brackets. They are currently into the lower half, I believe. But yeah, if they take this 2-0, it's going to be a big boon for the record. Easier to lock in the top 8 finish. What can we expect from Geek Fam here? What adjustments can they do to potentially get the comeback?
I felt like they need to, fix their draft. I mean, their draft was pretty okay, but of course, as you mentioned early, you need like a really good early game for that. Like, one, getting the Lunox might be risky because we've seen the nerfs happening. We saw the Lunox in this game. Like, the damage outburst wasn't available. I mean, the Cosmic Vision wasn't really heavily felt. And even the Brilliance and even Chaos Darkening was not really that significant in this matchup. So maybe they should like switch it up a bit and try to be a bit defensive, especially knowing that EVOS PH will really move around you.
I agree. I really thought that last pick for Geek Fam, it was an Estes, because Estes is really strong. We've seen that a lot. And that Lunox pick, that really changed my prediction right
But
there.
the Estes pick would have kind of put their damage in a predicament. They would be a little behind. As it is, they were, but that's just because the Lunox was shut down.
Yeah.
But I'm not sure how different it would have been with the Estes. But I agree, I want to see Estes.
But again, I think this meta is more of a sustained game. We're seeing a lot of supports right now being picked. Again, Rafaela, Estes. Well, I think one of the best ways, if your enemy has the Rafaela, try to go for another sustain. Try to go for those prolonged fights.
Fight fire with fire.
Fight fire with fire, indeed. And again, when it comes to healing, Estes is much more better than Rafaela.
Oh yeah, definitely.
Of course. And with that, I think that's the only thing that they lack right now. Even the damage from the scriptures of the Moon Goddess from Estes, it's still damage. It's still raw damage. You can imagine that Lunox, after the nerf, the range of the Chaos Assault is not that far anymore. So Lunox will be forced to go more deeper into the front lines for you to dish out damage. It's quite risky. So again, I think that Estes, or that first game should be Estes for Geek.
Very, very dangerous. Let's see if Estes is going to be picked up here or even respected and banned. It's going to be game 2 as we go into the draft. Geek Fam PH on the blue side, they're going to be on the play. EVOS going to be responding with their own Kimi ban to Geek Fam's Minotaur. What's going on, guys? Why is Minotaur seeing phase 1 banning? This is ridiculous. Is he also because he has a sustain of his own and he pulls double duty? He's really good tank, great CC, and of course motivation roar.
That's a lot of sustainability as well. And also other than that, once the rage mode has been activated, that motivation roar right there will also increase your own HP if you're receiving any kind of basic attack, which is, I think, EVOS PH is really comfortable using with. And it's also in par with their new playstyle right now, that aggressive playstyle. It's almost like Execration if you're going to ask me. That's almost like Execration. But Execration, more often they're going for the physical damage, but EVOS is more of a magical damage. They have both, again, I mentioned earlier, they have Lupin, they also have Haji, which is also a very good mage player. So,
I see.
So they can easily rotate.
They're quite mirrors of each other, right? Because on the side of Execration, it's nowadays it's Mei and Zapnu, but very physical. So it's very different, but still mirroring each other. On the side of EVOS PH, though, still waiting on their 2 picks to respond to Geek Fam's pick 1. Show. I really like this show.
Yeah, I agree. I mean,
not lose any stock over the past few months. Wonder if you have your thoughts.
Well, Cho is actually like a really good initiation hero. Like he could be used to engage in team fights, like to zone out some potential members. I mean, the Minotaur ban is actually very smart because, for example, Cho, once it's produced some Havoc and then all of a sudden here comes a Minotaur out of nowhere. I mean, sure, you got your Shunpo, but what if your Shunpo is not available anymore? So of course they want to protect themselves from any potential counterplay on that. And you can see it. There's Cho, there's Gufra, and Rafaela. You can see Geek Fam now going aggressive now in this game.
Almost the same when it comes to picks here earlier.
Oh no, here we go. Ladies and gentlemen, EVOS PH hovering and locking in the Estes, and we have ourselves a ball game. I'm so excited. I really want to see how this Estes interacts with the Esmeralda, right? Health shield, health shield, health shield. What are you gonna do, right? What am I gonna do? So let's talk about that Minotaur ban once again. I really feel like this is warranted now that we've discussed it a little more. And I do agree that he does pull double duty. I still stand by that belief. And just the fact that Minoan Fury exists, it just warms the whole meta. It makes heroes like Diggy a bit more
relevant.
Yeah, relevant. But now that Minotaur's getting banned out, we can expect Diggy to kind of just bubble up as well. But then again, Diggy's such a good counter to heroes like Cho, heroes like Terizla, because you're able to stop their approach. And I think Diggy is still very viable, even with Minotaur getting a little bit of a target on it.
Yeah, that's true. And also those Diggy with the time bombs, you can gather information a lot. And also with the reverse time against those mobile heroes. For example, we have Cho, we also have the Kufra. So one of the best counters right there. But I guess EVOS PH, they just need to get at least one more tank, or maybe not. I think there is
Tams.
Tams is
Tams
also
is good,
okay.
actually good.
Tams plus Estes is a problem. It's a big problem.
Yeah, 5-minute team fight. How about it?
I mean, I can sustain all your damage every single time.
Could be. Before we talk about these picks, we have the second phase of banning. Ban 3 for EVOS is going to be Selena. Ban 3 for Geek Fam is the Grok. And yeah, I like us going a little bit, throwback here, banning out the Grok, but instead a little later. Do you think Geek Fam read that wrong? Because I believe EVOS is not going to go for a tank here anymore. The tanks might be what they get here.
Yeah, I agree. I mean, they could also look for other alternatives. Akai is one of them. I mean, you don't need a tank if you're EVOS PH because you got the Estes, you got Esmeralda, you got the Expert. They can absorb a lot of damage. And of course, you got the Lilia who can also survive as well.
Yeah,
so the tank man
out,
is, he could black shoes out and, live long anytime.
On the side of Geek Fam, though, here's a few picks that might raise a few eyebrows. Chang'e and Leomord, the return of the Horseman. It's been a while since I've seen Leomord in ranked, in the professional league, in even exhibition matches. What do you guys think is the reason why we don't see Leomord anymore?
Well, I think because there's a lot of much more better fighters right now. We're looking at Export, we're looking at Thams, and I think those are the priority heroes first. So, but I think when it comes to this draft right here for Geek Fam, I think it is also a good pick because they need to easily breach the back lines. They need to pick off this Estes.
Clean up.
Because the Estes will be the big problem here for Geek Fam. But I think the problem is EVOS PH were able to counter all of their lineups with the Akai pick. With just one Hurricane Dance, he can also the bouncing ball. It will not stop, but it will push the bouncing ball away from any kind of allies inside of EVOS PH.
Okay, I like the Chang'e pickup here, but let's talk about predictions. EVOS PH or Geek Fam, are we gonna see a 2-0 Wonder Drift? What's your call?
Okay. I'm actually thinking this out really hard because Chang'e against Export. I mean, Chang'e's got the magic damage to burst out Export, which is really good. Leomord could be like an alternative split pushing option because in game number 1, Geek Fam never had that. And then Choke could actually be good against Export as well, especially if there's no Faraka armor. So perhaps I'm going with Geek Fam. I'm sticking with Geek Fam.
Okay. All right. Geek Fam for Wander Drift TDZ.
I'll go with EVOS PH here. There's a lot of magical damage that they cannot absorb, and also with the Estes. I think I'm really an Estes fan right here, especially for this meta because it's way too OP if you're going to talk about sustainability. So I'll go with EVOS PH.
Okay, put it right there, Estes brother.
Estes man.
Brothers, ladies and gentlemen. I am also going to side with EVOS PH in this lineup, and of course, that Akai I think is going to be the last nail in the coffin of Geek Fam PH. Oh, we could be wrong, but then again, that's what this next game is going to be all about. It's game 2 for EVOS PH and Geek Fam. Do or die for the boys in white, red, and blue as we go into the Land of Dawn in just a bit. We made our predictions. Wander Drift says Geek Fam, DDZ and I, we say EVOS PH, and I think here, we are going to see a much harder fought match. It's not going to be as dominant as the last one, right? The last one, the coin flip really happened in around 3 minutes. But after that, it was an EVOS game all the way. Right here, I think it's going to be a little more like a seesaw. Up and down. But yeah, in the end, I think it's going to go towards EVOS PH's way. Sorry, Wander Drift. Looks like you're going to be 0-2 in this prediction, in this series. But then again, ladies and gentlemen, if you guys at home have any thoughts on this game, do put it in the comments. Let us know. Share the stream. And of course, reminder, we do have those milestone achievements now. If we have here on the MPL Season 4 stream a certain number of viewers, then we get better rewards for those codes. Let's get right into it. Game 2 between Geek Fam PH and EVOS PH in our best of 3 is do or die for Geek Fam. Let's introduce our players.
On the side of Geek Fam PH, we have Escanor playing the Cho, Dogman on the Kufra, why not playing the Rafaela, Kingpin on the Chang'e, TZ playing the Leomord.
It's a little weird that you said Chang'e, right?
Chang'e.
You're not sure saying. You're not used to saying that. It's crazy.
It's really.
And on the side of EVOS PH, you have Honda as Akai, Killer as an Export, Dexter as Estes, Haji as Esmeralda, and Dupe and going to be playing as Lilia.
Correct me if I'm wrong. Is this like a least maybe the first or second time we saw Changa in the MBL.
I think it's the third
For
time.
me, this is the first time.
Okay, me personally as well, but yeah. What was the win rate on this? Did you see it win?
I kind of forgot. I was like in week number 2 where Changa was being picked, and sorry guys if I forgot the result.
I'm worried, dude. I'm worried. But yeah, check it out here. EVOS PH having the EXP advantage here. All of them at level 2 currently, while those members of GFAM still trying to find the EXP from the map. A little dangerous if you ask me.
Yeah, and well, looking at the emblems of EVOS PH here, they went for the hyper-aggressive, making sure that the battle spell is always online. So they're just waiting for at least level 4, and EVOS PH will play aggressively afterwards.
Yep, indeed. And EVOS PH, you did mention they are playing aggressively, and I'm seeing it. Like, they're invading all of the jungles of GFAM PH. Right now, I saw Haji in the bottom lane, and earlier while we were introducing the players, they were actually behind the tier 1 tower in the mid lane in front of the jungle as well. So it's really a good strategy just to slow down GFAM PH in this matchup.
That's true. Well, it's almost like a mirror for game 1 here.
Turtle
playing
resurrecting
EVOS
soon.
PH. They're trying to control the top lane, making sure that the mage will be controlled. But the thing is, Dexter is always there. Again, with the Moonlight immersion. Oh, able to take down Gupra first. And again, Escanor will also go down in the hands of the fire missiles for Killer. And this is what we're talking about. EVOS PH, if you're going to mirror our playstyle from game 1, we are well prepared to how to counter it.
Yep, indeed. And I felt like, for GFAM PH, that was too early. Like, Escanor and Dogman were still level 3.
Yeah.
You need the Way of the Dragon for you to be that effective.
Yeah.
You need the crowd control from the Tyrant's Rage to be super effective for you to capitalize on that rotation at top.
And it would have been perfect. They were near walls everywhere, right? So Tyrant's Rage would have just stunned and done a little extra damage onto a few members of EVOS. But yeah, they did lose that out. They conceded 2 lives for EVOS PH, which led to a free turtle and, of course, 2,000 gold lead.
Wow, 2,000 gold lead within less than 3 minutes here. But Killer able to see why not here. Almost high temp, forced to flicker out. They saw Honda coming in, so I think Honda also went for the sprint. So you also need to respect that. With the reduced cooldown for the battle spell and also with the respawn timer for their pull yourself together, that's a lot of high aggressive plays right there.
Yep, indeed. Hurricane Dance has popped out, though. There's a bouncing ball to Dogman, but Dogman is trapped. You go for the Tyrant's Rage, however, what are the front lines? Why not goes down? Now, Dufin is just dishing out a lot in GFAM PH. They are losing that mid lane matchup.
Okay, kudos to Dogman. He got rained down upon like 2 or 3 members of EVOS PH, but his health was still pretty high.
Yeah.
I think, he went for tenacity here for his emblem. That's a lot of magical and also armor for every game, for every how long. It's like a pseudo or a half of the body of Smith. So for that. So yeah, he's way too tanky. He can do this every single time, but you need to keep in mind that the power spike of EVOS PH is way too high or much more faster compared to GFAM. As you can see, EVOS, or rather Dufin, with the turtle buff, he can just spam his shadow energy every single time, and those bombs right there, man, that's one of the best ways to control and also rip down the tenacity of the Scoopra.
Them blooms.
The blooms, man.
Them blooms.
Yep, indeed. And I also have to add the fact that EVOS PH actually laned really well at the bottom lane because they put Haji onto Curtizi in the bot lane. So there's not a lot of space for Curtizi to just jump in anytime. Like, he cannot easily, destroy the tower, although they did destroy the tower. But early in the game, they struggled because of Haji's overall presence in that lane.
Yeah, but it looks like a trade now. Not sure what Escanor here can do against Duke and, of course, the Killer. But down below, though, near the turtle, Honda spinning him up. This is the Hurricane that's pushing Dogman away. And again, we see how chunky the ball is.
That's true. Well, you can see he can easily counter it. Oh, with the Poly Storming first, trying to hold down Kingpin. But the stun from Rafaela, controlling and Haji preventing any kind of kills right here for EVOS PH with a nice 1,000 pounder into the blender, holding down Dogman. But with the burst of magical and also with the movement speed damage for GFAM, they can easily disengage.
Definitely. In GFAM PH, they need to give Kingpin a lot of space in this matchup because so far, he's the only saving grace for GFAM in this matchup because he's going to dish out a lot of magical damage, which he will definitely need against Haji and against Killer. He's got that Meteor Shower, which will be so effective, but hold that thought. Hurricane Dance has popped out though. Curtizi with the momentum, but it doesn't really matter. They get the primary important target of your EVOS PH onto Kingpin.
And with this nice initiation again from Dogman, able to hold down the Esmeralda, but Haji again with the sustainability ability form the blessing of the Moon Goddess, holding down, making sure that Haji will just soak every single damage that this Cupra can deal. And also the falling Star Moon, preventing that or any kind of escape for this Cupra. And EVOS PH 6-0, less than 6 minutes. That's almost 7k net worth lead for EVOS PH. Wow.
Okay, you know what? I'm eating my words. I remember earlier saying that it might be a close match. It was going to go back and forth, but it seems like now Dokmen's durability is coming into question. Earlier on it was very good, but now underneath the turret, Haji chasing down, why not? The Rafaela buys the dust. Honda taking out this mid turret as well. Dupin needing to use Black Shoes to get out. Curtizi though, able to manage the call Barbiel just in time to lose once more.
Launch
Oh my
attack.
goodness, you know, with the way EVOS PH is playing right now, I'm also eating my words. As there you go, Hurricane Dance has popped out onto Dokmen as well. He's surrounded, no doubt. And Dokmen, there's no way he's going to live one as well.
There's no tank.
Yeah,
There's no tank for Geek Fam anymore. As long as they can control Dokmen 0-3-0 at the moment, there's really nowhere. It's like you're already shutting down the aggressiveness or the potential aggressiveness of Geek Fam PH as long as you can take down Dokmen. And Dokmen really needs to play carefully here. He doesn't need to really overextend because he cannot deal as much damage as you can. And as you can see, even the itemization of Dexter here, he went for the early immortality. He knew the importance of his life right here, of the healing, and that really enables EVOS PH to go really aggressive.
Yeah, and add the fact that, hold that thought, there's a Hurricane Dance pop onto Escanor. Escanor has been completely shut down in the top lane, but there you go. Where's the Dragon popped out? Jeet can go, but the survivability here on EVOS PH can actually work wonders, but Geek Fam PH, they provide a counterplay, and it could actually work out at their favor.
You know what? I think EFAM here needs to just take what they can from the map. They shouldn't be pushing this advantage, small advantage that they got. 2 for none, that's a good deal. And they should just keep going at this. Maybe for the next 4 or 5 minutes. Here's a Falling Star Moon onto Escanor. It's one-on-one with the Gypsy Dancer, and she takes out the Cho, and she wants more.
She wants more,
Yeah.
and here comes Dokmen with the initiation. Meteor Storm is also being used, but again, the shields from the Frost Moon shield is way too high, able to sustain that much damage, and Haji is unstoppable right now. Level 11, 401, almost the same performance as this one.
Staying frosty 8 minutes in, taking out Kingpin from out of nowhere. I thought it was over, but instead he's like, check this out, guys. Hold my beer.
Hold my beer. I'll go back. I'll storm in. And well, he knew that he can do this every single time as long as Dexter is there. And even Curtizi popping the Barbiel, Phantom Steed online, but that cost him a lot. Now that EVOS PH knew that there's no Phantom Steed for Curtizi, he can just really go in. And he also went for a Bounty Hunter.
Check this out though, as we go for the Lord here, I just need to mention here, check out Dexter, sitting at 0-0-6, right? He already has immortality. He knows that the target is on his back. Just like how all the other teams have played Estes, right now this is the first time I've seen this early that the Estes really just cares about his own life.
Yep, indeed. I mean, it's such an important factor for EVOS PH because so far in the previous fights, I've seen his significance because of the fact that he's actually helping the team survive with the blessing of the Moon Goddess so far in this matchup.
Ladies and gentlemen, quick pause right now as we fix a little bit of a kerfuffle in the back. Ladies and gentlemen, once more, if you're just watching us now, this is game 2 between EVOS PH and Geek Fam. And it's looking hard for Geek Fam, really tough. And one of us here is going to be wrong if this keeps going on.
I'm cashing out, guys. And,
I'm folding. No, but neither of us expected it for it to be this dominant, right? We expected EVOS to take it, but not this fast, not this strong.
Yeah, I mean, I was expecting that there's going to be some fight on Geek Fam PH because you got some individual crowd control from Joe, you got the magic damage from Changa.
You got Dokmen on the Kufra.
Yeah, I mean, but I felt like they're so over-reliant on this annihilating, X-Borg and Esmeralda in this matchup that they're forgetting the other factors.
And it's leading to nothing. Look, 0 deaths on Killer, 0 deaths on Haji. Who have they killed? Honda, for sure. He's the tank. He's going to be in your face. Dupin maybe caught up before Black Shoes. So it's very difficult right now for Geek Fam PH, especially now that EVOS is knocking on their doors with the road.
And again, the roll is already there. Again, the pushback from Honda here, trying to isolate the rest of Geek Fam PH. Well, the damage being done. Falling Star Moon will be used. Haji trying to control Kingpin, but Kingpin is way too inside, and he's gonna trap Kingpin inside, not giving any chance for a potential comeback. And EVOS PH getting that win against Geek Fam.